Well,
Right.
Hi everybody. Welcome to this new episode of Lightshare. Today we have with us the amazing Tiana. She's an awesome artist that I'm really excited to talk about. And today we're finally back together once again, Dom and Andrea, after so long, full Lightshare team. So Tiana, feel free to introduce yourself. Let us know, how did you get here? What was this about? What moves you?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Everything started with having a podcast of my own where I wanted to ask artists that I admire questions, but instead of wasting their time in private DMs, I was like, well, maybe I can help show them to more people by having it in the form of a podcast. So that would make it easier for them maybe to talk to me as well. Because then I can, steal their time and maybe there's something in for them. And Adrian and I had, without a doubt, by far, the best time. This was a 5.5-hour conversation while we were drawing. And what he put out in the end was something that people get hired for. So I was just mind blown. And when you later said that we might do this again, I was like, okay, sure. And now it's happening. It's super exciting.
Those 5 hours went by so fast, by the way.
I know.
What?
I know. It was
5
an
hours?
instant connection. And it's hard to get that, not just because you meet many artists, but artist doesn't mean artist and artist click immediately.
Yeah.
It's really a character, a temperament thing. And we had that on the go. It was amazing. And I loved how you were the host. And I didn't have to do anything. I was just leaning back, taking in all that information. You were talking to my audience. You were asking the right questions for yourself to answer them as well. I was like, man, that's priceless.
I think I just talk too much.
Adrian's a natural born talker. He knows how to carry a conversation, even with all three of us.
Yeah, he definitely does. That's a skill. That's a skill.
We've been discussing that in some of our recent calls. I was just apologizing, sorry guys, I just talked too much. I know this. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
No, I mean, someone has to fill the silences, right?
I guess, yeah.
What do you expect on a podcast? Silence?
Yeah. Well, silence is an interesting topic. We've been actually talking about that, how there are some times where silences are, let's say, healthy in some point, in some way.
Yeah,
I used to get really uncomfortable around awkward silences. When you're just talking about something and then you suddenly everybody shuts up, and there's these seconds of silence, it's like, dude,
or you don't know if the audience is still with you or thinking about their dad, grandma.
Yeah, you're like, please, guys, someone say something, But yeah, it's all about knowing where the conversation is going and how do you feel with the rest of the people. And I guess there's no doubt we do feel that with you, and it's the same we felt with many other guests that we've had here. Is this connection you're talking about, you feel at home, it's if I have to put it in a way, an example like that, you feel oh, this is comfortable, it's a comfortable environment. So this is why we also do these conversations in a, well, so redundant, but it's in a conversation tone, rather than an interview, because it's you never know where the conversation is going to flow, so you just let them go.
What you're going to learn from a person. Sometimes you don't know what questions are the questions you're supposed to be asking.
Yeah, you just let them come up, basically, you know? So, yeah, that's why I basically asked you, how did you get here? Tell us a little bit of your story.
As if you did.
I'm curious.
I mean, maybe I know something, but maybe
I
don't.
So there you go.
I don't know either.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the dark.
So, let us know.
You'd like to hear what the artist's story or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it can be your story.
Because
If it's not the artist.
when I know
It
about
all
you-
started when I was 4 years old, and there was this girl who drew pyramids
it can
better
be
than me.
that.
Oh, there you go. Okay, keep going.
No, this is the true story, okay?
Let's go.
TLDR, it started all when I was 4 years old. There was this girl that drew pyramids better than me. Her name was Nikki, and I was really jealous of her because people liked people who can draw pyramids better than me, and I was like, no, I want to draw the cool pyramids. And ever since then, I'm a painter and artist. Long story short, it all started with Nikki.
Funny story, there was a guy on second grade who could draw like dinosaurs better than me, and I also was jealous of him. So like, I think it might be the little push that actually made you be there.
Yeah. Jealousy is a good motivator, I can tell you that. Especially when you're in a school surrounded by people who are roughly equally skilled like you. That's what happened to me when I went to Nomen. I studied photography first. At a high school. It's like a high school college, a mixed type of deal. And then I heard about the Nomen School of Visual Effects, which was right about the same time as when Avatar came out, the James Cameron movie. And I was like, wow, you can create worlds and it's all in 3D and this is amazing. It's like the closest thing to magic you can imagine. So then I heard about the school from a friend and I said, I want to go there. And I told my dad about it because he could afford sending me there. And he kept pretending as if he didn't hear me for 3 years when I said I want to go there. And I've been working my ass off in those 3 years to have a portfolio where the Nomen School would actually accept me. So I had like sketch groups that I organized where I would hire people to model for the whole group. And it would be usually people that I find at the gym. So I would see a huge bulky guy and I would tell him, oh, you look like a Viking. Do you want to model for me? And they'd be like, me? What? Of course. I mean, I'd be flattered. So it's a great way to get to know people. Like if you want to pick up a chick, you just say, hey, would you like to model for me? It's way better than any other compliment, I can tell you.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just surprised that they just said yes straight away.
Yeah? Like, I mean, you
let's
sit
go.
down for 3 hours dressed like a Viking and you get paid for it. I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah. I'm sure that's what Alberto Miogo does.
Actually, the guy approached me. I was at the dinner with the THU people and he happened to be there as well. And as I was leaving, he's tall. I bumped into him, and he said something to me like, "Hey, do you want to be my muse?" And I was like, "No, get the fuck out of here! Who the fuck are you?"
Oh man,
you creep.
Okay, that didn't work out then.
Nope. I kind of regret it now. I would have liked to be his muse. I didn't know who the fuck he was at the time. He had this weird mustache and weird accent. I was like, no.
That's funny.
So that was THU. How long ago?
Well, it was like after THU. THU has meetups sometimes.
Oh,
so I was
see.
there in my first year already in Los Angeles. It was 2015. That's when I had this THU meetup. And then I studied for 3 years at the Nomen School of Visual Effects. And there were so many things that I was interested in. And I couldn't make my mind up. And to be honest, I still can't make my mind up. I don't know if you guys can relate to that.
So you've been living
Andre,
in...
I've seen your portfolio. You're pretty much decided that you want to do vehicle design, right? So I don't see you fucking around with anything else. But when I look at my portfolio, I'm like, can you please make your mind up? Because you scroll through my Instagram and it's like, okay, we have tarot cards and then we have oil paintings and now we have product 3D design and now we have an exhibition somewhere and like nothing makes sense. And I think that's a problem when it comes to picking a career. Like,
but do you feel like
being decisive?
Like you lost or like you don't know exactly what you want to do or? Because it does feel like you know exactly what you want to do. That's why I'm asking.
I just would like to do everything in one. Like I would like to be part of the story making, part of the concept design, part of the 3D modeling and texturing. And I think you'd have to be in like a smaller environment for that. And I made the silly mistake to graduate as a 3D generalist instead of a game developer.
Why is that?
I don't know how much you know about game making, but even the way you model is different from movies. In games, everything is about the low poly
Definitely.
count, which is subject to
Exactly.
change now with Unreal 5 coming out. Apparently, you will not
Because
have
you don't
count
care about that
polys.
anymore, right?
Well,
About the
I
low
don't know if
poly
this is
count.
if they will still have to go the old-fashioned way just because.
I mean, I'm sure you have to at a certain point, but I mean, they just allow like more poly count. You know, like they support way
Yeah,
more.
like crazily
dense
more.
meshes.
Like this is it's more than the movies allow. Like with
Mhm.
Unreal 5, it's more polys than the
Yeah.
movies allow, which is mind-boggling. But only for things that are not moving. Like characters will still stay somewhat.
Oh, see,
low
that's something
poly.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Because if you
Interesting.
look at the Unreal demo, I don't know if you've seen it, but everything is hyper realistic except of the character. So just from observing that, I made the conclusion that only for environments this will count. So it's great if you're an architectural visualization person, which I was dabbling a little bit into. Then you don't have to worry about that anymore, I guess. So yeah, now I'm gonna learn Unreal, and just to be able to have more opportunities because the movies is not happening, especially right now.
I see. Oh, Unreal is pretty awesome. It's always been, you know,
Yeah, the
ever
amount of
since
things you can do.
yeah, ever since I started, you know, in my career as a professional artist, I was hired at a small local studio and they were using Unreal Engine to make this game. And I kind of had to learn how to model for the in-game, you know, version of the assets, like for the game engine. And that was like an entirely new world for me because it's like
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna make drawings, you know, I was gonna design characters and creatures and stuff like that, but in 2D, like using painting and line drawing and all that stuff. And they were like, "Well, yeah, we're a small team. We don't have the budget to hire more people, so you will have to learn that." And that was an entire adventure in its own, you know, on itself.
Let me
But
ask you, where were you working at the time?
where this
Like what
happened,
city? Yeah.
this was here in Spain on the east side, close to Valencia.
Actually, can I tell you something?
Hmm.
I'm gonna move to Valencia in April.
Damn.
You guys can have sketch groups.
Damn. That's awesome.
So-
How is that?
We're gonna be neighbors.
Work?
Lots
if
of
you don't
private
wanna-
bullshit.
okay, you
Yeah,
don't wanna
like
talk
I
about that, we
can't
don't-
because it's so fresh. I
Okay.
can't. I would like to, but I can't. Lots of private bullshit happened that I didn't foresee.
I understand.
And now I'm like, I wanna live on my own terms with the freedoms that I am supposed to have as an adult. So I'm packing all my shit and I'm leaving. I just signed the contract actually. So
Nice.
it's really happening.
I think-
But I live out of a suitcase right now, so.
Okay, I think you're gonna like it a lot. You know, Valencia is like
Dude,
a-
I've been dreaming of the sun ever since I left LA. I don't want to be in cold Middle Europe anymore. I'm done with that crap.
well.
It sucks.
Then I think this is like a place for you, honestly.
Yeah, and I want to learn how to argue in Spanish because it looks so fun in the telenovelas, you know?
Yeah, it is.
So are you
But-
currently in Europe right now? Or
Yeah, I'm in Vienna right now. I'm staying with a
Okay.
friend. She took me in, and she's super kind that she even did that because I wouldn't take my crazy ass in. I'm super thankful. I'm super lucky to have her. She's right now not here. She's on a ski trip, but she'll come back later tonight. I'm not sure if you will meet her. She's an artist too, by the way. I should mention that. She's really
Awesome.
cool.
That's
She's
cool.
super resourceful and she does murals and shit like that. She's awesome. And
Like
she's
with
gorgeous.
Spray or like
No. She paints them with
Okay.
A brush
I see.
in acrylic.
Man,
she freestyles a lot. It's really cool.
so much respect to these people who paint like giant things, you know, because it's like, how do you
Yeah.
keep track of the proportions and everything? I don't know. It's
I
pretty
wonder
crazy.
about that too. She borrowed my projector. Now it's easier for her. But like one of the things that she did was on a huge outside wall. It was like a consulate of some country that I've never heard of. And she did that all just with a this thing, the metal thing where you stand on. I don't know what they're called. You find them on construction sites.
Oh,
and
like the
she
scaffolding
just
thing?
winged it. Yeah, scaffolding. Yeah,
Mhm.
and she just made a sketch of it like on a A3 piece of paper, and then she did it just like that. And she did it
That's-
correctly. Like she
great.
did buildings.
Yeah, that's when it
Like,
comes from
she didn't
inside,
do-
you know.
She's brave. She's brave. And she doesn't have the easy accesses that I do. Like, she's not even from this country. She doesn't even have a work visa. Like, she just pushed through somehow. I admire her so much. She gives me strength to do this thing with Valencia. Because I'm scared out of my mind. I've never done something like this before. Just run away and start again.
But I mean, you've been living in America, right? For like how much?
Yeah,
3 years?
but
How long?
back then I was financially secure, and now I'm like
Oh, I see.
all
Now
on my
you're
own.
on your own.
That's a
Okay.
completely that's
How does
a
it
completely
compare
different thing.
to from America to Europe? Like, which area do you like more?
Europe. I like Europe for the security, for the social security. But I like Americans a lot because they are open-minded about new things, and Europeans aren't. Europeans are like clinging on to their dead artists, like, and they don't let anyone new in. Like, you know, if you go to Vienna, the only shit you're allowed to listen to is Mozart as a tourist. You know, like that. There's nothing new that the city wants to like push up, right? And in America, or in Los Angeles at least, if you're a new artist and you're great, they're gonna show you. You know, like you don't have to fight against some 300-year-old dead artist. It's
Yeah.
different. Everything is new there, so you don't have to compete with someone who already died and made it into Wikipedia and whatnot history books. So depends on who you are. If you are a normal person, don't live in America because healthcare, education, all sucks there in comparison to Europe.
Yeah, it's pretty high, for sure.
Where are
So
you
that's-
at, Dom?
I'm in California,
Yeah,
Southern
so you can
California,
understand.
so yeah. But you know, you guys have nice architecture.
Yeah.
Give you guys that.
And the paintings, I know, we do. But on the other hand, I like the LA, the new LA, better than the new Europe. Because the new LA is grungy and cool, and the new Europe is depressing and looks like a communist bloc. You know, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's gray. The new Europe is gray, and there is no nice decorations and shit like that going on. When I was in LA, there was a lot of murals. There were colorful buildings. They tried. I think they tried a little more, but then at the same time, the building quality in America kind of sucks because everything is made of wood and cockroaches everywhere and bed bugs and whatnot. We don't have these
Yeah.
problems in
Not the
Europe.
most pleasant areas, especially in LA. Well, I don't really go to LA as much since I live down south, but
Are you
I
San
have-
Diego or?
I am Irvine, so that's a little bit.
Okay, you're still
north.
LA. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Irvine.
Yeah, we got Blizzard here, and
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
stuff.
My friend is. I have a couple of friends that work at Blizzard, and they say it's boring. There's nothing going
so I
on.
heard. Some stories are true. Yeah.
So how was, I'm just curious, you know, how was the whole story with Nomen? You know, you were studying there in terms of, how should I say this, like skills acquired? Like, how did you transition, or how did you adopt that into your workflow? Like, you learned a lot of 3D, right? Because I saw you posting like
Oh yeah.
a lot of texture stuff in, I don't know what you were using, Marmoset or something like that. It just looked awesome.
So I learned
like
the movie part of 3D. So there are two different, like, so let's say the softwares that we all use are either Maya or Max. At Nomen, they teach you Maya. And then from then on, when it comes to rendering, it goes in two different directions. Even the way you paint your textures. Back then, the gamers do Substance Painter and Substance Designer for the textures. The movie makers use Mari or Photoshop. Now Substance is updated, so now even the movie people can use Substance. But then the way you render things is completely different too. You can do real time in games, of course, so you would use Marmoset or Unreal Engine or Unity or whatever you want to use. And for the movie guys or advertising or show or whatever, you use V-Ray, Redshift, Arnold, and yeah, even the way you create your textures, you have to bake textures in the game world, and you have to bake normals, which are basically those bumps, like the depth and stuff of a material. You don't bake in the movie world, so it's completely different, even though sometimes it can look the same. The outcome can look the same if you render two different pictures that were done differently. It can look the same, but the way it was done is so different. So there's a lot to learn, especially because Unreal makes no fucking sense. I don't know if you've ever opened that program, but lighting in Unreal is like if you had a problem with ZBrush, I wish ZBrush. I want ZBrush back, because Unreal is like you watch a tutorial about Unreal and you do everything right, everything that they do, and then they say, okay, now click this button, and I'm like, this button is grayed out, I can't even click it, and you start crying.
Man,
10 hours of work, and then you stop right there where you can't click that fucking button. It's the worst.
Absolutely. So how did this connect to the this time where you start showing like big paintings on a canvas and you sell them, or you bring them to galleries and stuff? Is that like the next? Because it's like, so I'm trying to keep track of your...
I was so tired of 3D.
Okay.
Because it took so long to
Had enough 3D, right?
3 months for one image, right? Like when you just start out, you work on one image for 3 months. Like you very few people design their own stuff, but since I know how to paint, I was like, I'm gonna design my shit. I don't fucking care. So you design your thing. Maybe it'll take a week or two to get something really nice, right? It has to have a story and a shape language and a color palette and a mood, and it has to like really look good and stable to be worth polishing that turd that you have. Because you're gonna spend 3 months looking at it, so you better put the time in. And then
and then what? And then what? Don't let us hanging. Don't let us hanging.
Like how we never know where we may end up being, because I'm sure like when she wanted to get a gnome, I mean, of course we can ask her, but it seemed like she was pretty sure that she wanted that. And that is of course 3D.
I think it's
all the way.
It's a matter of just keep searching, keep trying stuff and finding your bliss. Is that what you say in English? Finding your bliss.
Your passion?
Yeah. Like what moves you, what drives you.
She's back.
She's back.
And
she's back.
I'm so sorry. Okay,
No.
so I'm connected
okay.
with my phone, and I had my phone connected with my computer, but it died anyway. And I'm using my phone's hotspot.
Okay, no worries.
So, where did I interrupt you guys? What were you talking about?
Well, it was kind of like a cliffhanger, like on a movie, And then... And you just froze.
I don't even know what I said. I don't know. What did I say?
I think I basically asked you about your, the whole period of time where you were studying at Nomen and how that connected to your next chapter with the gallery and like the canvas paintings and all that stuff.
Okay, so you have to understand, I was just coming out of high school and I was very arrogant. And I thought that things will just happen and they will come to me if I work hard enough, right? And to some extent it's true. But if you're arrogant, nobody wants you. So I made many mistakes with people where I was like being so full of myself, and that turned them off. Even though maybe it was justified for who I was at the time, how young I was, how skilled I was for how soon I started. It just didn't work well for me. And me being a girl to top that made me very vulnerable to predators. And in LA, in the movie industry, in the game industry, in the VFX industry, just because they're artists, it doesn't mean that they're good people, right? So there were multiple factors going on where I was still finding myself, where I was having temperamental issues, and where I was being grossed out by the people that I was trying to approach for work that misunderstood my approach for flirtation. So some doors didn't open for me because they offered me sex instead of work. Some doors didn't open for me because they thought that I was too full of myself, even though I was just confident and naive and arrogant, but still hardworking. And some doors just didn't open for me because I didn't put enough time on that one specific thing. I was just still finding myself, still trying things out, different things. And I'm still in that overly curious mode, I guess, where I work on my tarot cards, and then I have my not personal project, these product visualizations that I do in 3D. Those are commercial. Then I work a little bit as a part-time secretary to have like a consistent income that I can count on. And then I get commissions for digital art covers, or whatever comes in. And I'm like never really satisfied with just one project, never really satisfied with just one medium. And that is a huge issue for corporate environments where they want this one specialist that really knows how to do this. And it also shows in like social media. If you just start building a community right around a certain project that you do, for me it was the Skin Deep series, and I'll talk a bit about that. They will leave once you start finishing that chapter for yourself and start showing interest into new mediums, new projects, new subject matter. And that's where I was talking to Andre, where I was like, I check out his Instagram. It's very like consistent, right? You look at it and you know exactly what he's about, and you can tell this guy, if he designed you a toothbrush, it's gonna be the most elegant toothbrush.
Like when you were out, I was just mentioning like, I'm glad I came off like as just safe and secure on what I want, but that's not like how it happens at all. I just keep like all the experimentation out of there because it's exactly what you said. People stop responding after you experiment a little bit. So
yeah,
you're
smart like that. You're very smart like that. I was very naive, believing that people like whatever I put out.
Yeah, we tend to like believing people like us for who we are, right? But they don't really know us. They just know like what to put out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They don't see that it's like a freaking diary. Like when we share an image, it's not just a pretty image with some colors on it. We share a story. We share a whole universe. I mean, Adrian, you can definitely relate to this. Like when you paint a landscape, you don't just think about the happy trees and the cool clouds. You think about the whole, like, where might this planet be on? What's
where am I taking this picture from, right? Like, imagine yourself in there taking a picture, which is what you're painting.
Yeah. You try to really relate to this space, and you try to make it as reasonable and relatable as possible, and imagine it has humanoids on it. What would the culture be like? And you think of all of this, and that human is this big in a stick figure, but you have a freaking story to tell. It's all in here. And people won't see it because they don't know how attached we are to the work we do and how deep it goes for us.
Because I think I see that as like art is pretty much like a shadow of yourself. It's like a representation of you, but it's not necessarily you entirely, right? So yeah, you have to get to meet the artist, I guess, to understand.
Yeah.
To figure out the answers to all those. That's
why these podcasts are so important.
Yeah, exactly. It's like to give a voice to the artist as well,
And learn from other people's mistakes. Like I loved watching the Level Up podcasts back then in the day.
That sounds like so 2015 for me, man. Because that's what
It legitimately was.
Yeah, I was so hooked to it.
Yeah.
Every week I would wait for that episode to happen.
Yeah.
I swear, I was like, who are they bringing next?
Yeah.
So
and just seeing how everyone has their own path.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're like, I must be the only one thinking that, and then you can hear it out of someone else's mouth, just maybe arranged in different words, and it feels good to know that you're not the only one, because there's not many artists in your area most of the time. You are usually the only black sheep in the family or wherever you're at.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets lonely really quickly. Having the internet and podcasts where you can share your struggles and you're growing, it helps not making other people's mistakes. I learned a lot from other people's mistakes.
Absolutely. Look at us. We're like on the other side of the world, from each other. So we're it's the magic of this kind of communication, to put your stuff out there, get noticed. And it's what we're always talking about this, the law of attraction, like where like-minded people are somehow meant to be connected at some point. It's something that will happen sooner or later. So
yeah.
I would go as far as to say that those contracts are pre-made, predetermined, like that we met up as like little rays of sunshine, and we said, okay, now we're gonna go back onto this planet, and we're gonna have our roles, and the milestones is that we will meet, but what happens down the road, that's all our choice. I like to think like that.
And I like that you said that
every experience is valuable, no matter how bad it is. Then you say, okay, it was meant to be, and we learned something from it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, you made Dom mad. He was big.
So what do you guys do these days? Like, enough about me.
What do you mean enough about you? Like, we're here to...
I've been talking 100 words per second. I'm done talking. I want to listen.
All right, then you go, Dom.
Me? Well, right now I'm just teaching. I'm teaching some students and just and making my book project, which is hopefully coming out this summer, and doing some freelance on the side. It's like that. Not much. And school.
What do you go by on Instagram? Layered Painter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Or just Dom.
Man, I love your stuff.
Thank you.
What you do with this brushwork and the colors, it's so daring, I think.
Yeah, it took me a lot of, I guess, soul searching to find that style, or at least like in this artistic venture, I guess. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't even know where I'm going either, but it just transitions from like one story to the next in each
do you feel like it built up
chapter
in
of
time?
my journey. Huh?
Or do you feel like it built up in time, that kind of style, or you just suddenly came up with like, this is how I want to do it, I think
it's like a little bit of research, and then you combine like your influences and your interests, and you see like what you can make different to bring to the audience, and try to make it.
I call it the never before seen on Pinterest look, because that's what you want to go for.
I guess, but yeah, it's a lot of like traditional artist influences, so like watercolor and that.
I love how you're going. I'm looking at the one where I have a protagonist in a museum surrounded by statues, and there's like this saturated, dripping blue purple.
Right, that's what I told him.
It feels
like
good.
I like how he focuses the saturation, to guide
it
the
feels
eye,
so
basically.
Good. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of what artists do with their underpaintings when they use like I like to use pink for an underpainting. Traditional artists like to use burnt sienna, and I like to leave out this like these little spots where the pink is shining through, no matter if it's like a landscape or a portrait. It just feels good, and this is, I get the same feeling when I look at this. It's just much more vibrant and much more saturated, and I'm so surprised how it still works. It doesn't look weird, it doesn't look odd. It looks like, yeah, I can totally see that blue thing dripping off these statues. What were you smoking?
I exercise, does that count? So I get like this high of No, a rush
No,
of
where
adrenaline.
were you smoking? There must be something.
Yeah, I have a specific dealer.
Is
It's
it
right
an art
there,
dealer?
actually.
I want to know.
It's right there
Yeah.
on the table, on the desk. It's that little green guy.
Yeah, this guy's my dealer.
So do you start this in black and white? Because I see that you, like, if I swipe on the right, there is a.
Yeah, so usually like I'll do like a rough black and white sketch, and then I'll throw on like a wash of color, and then paint with the normal mode on top of like all the merged layers, and that's how I can like push the saturation, those colors and stuff. So
Do you
It's-
work with photo textures as well, or is this pure brush?
some of it's like photo, so I'll find like abstract watercolor brush marks, and I'll just kind of lay it on top and then erase
Okay.
it. So
Okay.
gives it that traditional feel, I guess.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah. So did you come from more of like a traditional background, or like did you just want to go straight into concept art or illustration? Like what was
Oh my
your
god. Oh,
thing with that?
What did I do when I was okay? So I started. I mean, do we count from when I was 4? Because finger painting, does that sound traditional? Does it count as traditional?
I think it's pretty traditional.
So let's say I was 13 and I started with inks, and I was doing a lot of watercolor, and then I did digital painting, and then I got into oil painting afterwards, and all of this was just tutorials. Like I didn't have anybody, because it's figuring things out, and this should be all in the open.
Man, the whole
Yeah.
marketing thing is like another art style, I would say. To know how to sell something, how to
If you
market
know how to
yourself as an
yeah,
artist.
if you know how to lie prettily, because that's marketing. You have to lie with a pretty face. Like be like, okay, look at me.
Yeah, well, I don't think you need to lie to do good marketing. You can sell something legitly. You can say, hey, what you see is what you get. All right, no tricks. That's it.
I don't believe
If-
it.
if you
I
want
don't
that-
believe in it. I've seen too many artists.
I understand why you
always
don't
having
believe in it,
something.
because it's what's most common there, out there. That's why. Nobody does that. Nobody is like, how should I say this? Like honest, enough when
You're not
selling
allowed
stuff
to
like
be
that.
anymore. You're not allowed to be anymore. You say something that people disagree with, you're canceled. Bye bye. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to talk to you. You
They'll
have some,
basically fall for someone else, and go somewhere else where they're promised something better, and then they're probably not gonna get it, That's what's wrong with this. I think
it
puts
with
you in a
artists,
situation where you're kind of stuck.
you should be able to separate the artist from the art, and that's really difficult for many people, for many normal people. Like I say, normal, like muggles, non-painters.
Muggles.
Yeah, I have artists that I've met in real life. I'm like, okay, I don't want to grab a beer with you, but that piece that you just did, oh my god, man, wonderful. And that's a lot of people cannot do that. So when they hear something from an artist that they don't like, that they don't agree with, now the whole art is shit. Now the whole music is shit. Now their book is shit. I mean, look at J.K. Rowling. She's in trouble because she has a different opinion from other people.
Yeah.
Now people want to cancel her book. I'm thinking, what does this have to do with the book? She's a genius.
It's the effect of the angry mob, I guess. More people join the movement. Whatever it is, I need to take part in this, to feel like I belong to a tribe, I guess.
Yeah, but those are weaklings. You're weak if you cannot make, like, a lot of these things that I hear on the internet is usually copy paste stuff. Most of these people didn't even write the opinions that they. That's my biggest problem. I respect anyone who can write their own opinion, but most of them just copy paste it from somewhere else, and then they feel themselves righteous, like they did something today. Yeah, how about you paint for 3 hours, read for a couple more, and then take care of your family? clean up your house, learn a new skill, maybe a new language, cook a recipe of your own.
Yeah.
You don't have time to screw with other people's lives, cancel them. Who the fuck are you to cancel anybody?
To bitch around, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I do wonder how they
always
find
busy.
time to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Life's too short to, deal with.
And also too
other
busy
people's
if you're worried
problems.
about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you're really focusing on yourself, how do you find time to, like, actually watch other people's lives and opinions? I can't understand
Yeah,
that.
and then you also have to look at yourself. Like, if you judge someone else for their freaking opinions, what about you? Like, you probably have some nasty stuff that you wouldn't admit to anybody.
That's what I was going to say. Most of the people who is always like caring about what other people are doing and complaining about it as well. Complaining about maybe someone else's success, right? Just because they feel like they
NFTs.
NFTs? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an example
you
of that.
hear people being like, but this is like against what are they like? The NFTs are so against the Greta Thunberg girl, like
environment.
It's bad for the environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing, and I'm thinking, okay, so you
And then
never drive a car, right? Like, what about that? Like, who's gonna give you shit that you're driving the car to the grocery store that's 500 meters away because you're too bitch to just carry the groceries yourself? Like,
yeah. It's a
but
matter
that's
of
not in public.
perspective, I guess. Like, you're choosing to look at
People are trying to make a living.
Small thing, and make this look like
people are trying
huge.
to make a living in the pandemic, and then other people are like, but what about the environment?
I think that's like an excuse, to bring their insecurities up, to the surface and just show how they can't stand other people making a living that way, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but they can do it because they're famous. It only works for them. And this destroys the art community, because this is what I've been reading online these days, last month.
I know, and I find
like,
it ridiculous. It's like,
it's
like, is it opposite day? Excuse me? Isn't art always a free market? Nobody fucking forces you to, or when these artists are like, but this is my one and only NFT.
Right. I think
just to be okay.
I think
with,
more
with
like
everyone else.
The opposite day is more like the opposite year, perhaps, because it's been like this for so long now. It's like the world is so backwards at this point. But yeah, we've been discussing this, so many times because it comes to your attention that it's like, oh, but this is just an isolated case. Don't pay attention to that. And then it's like another one and another one. And all of a sudden you have like a whole bunch of people, like the entire community complaining about this, right? What gives me hope is that I see people not giving a fuck about that. They just keep doing it, keep being awesome and selling their work and, making a living off of what they love doing. And then you have the other people complaining about that. But I don't know. I don't know what you think about this, about the whole, you're a big artist. You do NFTs, you screw my career because I'm a smaller artist, right? How does that work? I don't understand how that works.
That's as if you were. This is you saying you're a big artist. I'm not on your level. I don't want to be your friend. That's exactly what you're saying right now. Because if I know a big artist that is selling NFTs, the first thing that I'm gonna do is send a friend request, a bouquet of flowers, and an invite for dinner.
Mm-hmm. It's all about
because
making connections, dude. It's there's no
teach
trick
me
to
how
that.
to be fucking epic. What do you eat for breakfast? Did Andre design your toothbrush? Because if that's what works for you to be epic, I want it too. Like.
Well, useful for something at least.
He'll do it.
He'll do it.
I mean, for the right price,
Yeah. But you know what I mean, right? Like, it's this whole mentality, mindset, whatever you want to call it.
I think my biggest issue with that is you are not satisfied with like sharing your opinion. You want to like rule over other people, Like, if you don't want to do NFTs or anything like that, don't do it. Like, it's your life. You can do whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
But when you start like wanting to tell other people what they should or should not do, I think that's the biggest issue, you know.
I think that's just
I'm not here.
egotistical and
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you gonna tell a prostitute not to prostitute herself? No, you're gonna leave her alone. Be like, okay, I know what goes into this. I think she knows too. So let her do you. You know.
It's her business.
Are you aware
right?
of what's happening?
But
Then okay.
but yeah, I think I get your example. I know what you mean, and I think, you know, just let people do whatever they want as long as they don't harm anyone else, right? That's
Yeah, but
like,
they think they do. That's the thing. Like, oh, it's my environment. You're shitting on my air. That's what I
Yeah.
heard when I was in school. Like in high school, I was the only kid with a car, and I didn't
But-
ask for the car. I got the car because I had piano lessons, violin lessons, photography school, a laptop bag, gym. So I had 5 backpacks at the time. No, 4 backpacks because for the piano. But I know that I had like
yeah.
a laptop. I had tons of shit. My dad looked at me and he's like, "A lady shouldn't be walking around like that," because it happened to me that I was mugged on the street at night by girls because I was too heavy with shit and I looked like a buffet, you know, a freebie buffet.
Yeah, you
on
have too much
legs.
stuff carrying around.
Got a car, and then my best friend at school says, "You're polluting the air that I breathe with this car."
Bro, what do you mean?
what?
Anyway. But yeah, it's a matter of perspective, as I say, because, you know, whoever says that, it's probably from a place of, you know, they don't,
Jealousy. Envy.
or ignorance or lack of knowledge about the subject matter they're talking about. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I always try to speak with authority when I think I have enough experience knowing about some subject, you know, to speak about that. And even then, you still have like one door open in case you're wrong about something, you know, despite your experience and all you know about that. You're open to new opinions on that and to people schooling you on that thing you think you know so much about. You know, there's always a bigger fish, right? So what I would say is that all the people that we see complaining nowadays because it pollutes the environment and NFTs and cryptos and, you know, and what about the rest of the electronics? You know, what about the rest of the stuff we use on a daily basis?
Yeah.
What about the, you know, the ordinary things in life? You know, they also pollute stuff, you know. We never complain about those. Well, of course we do complain about those, but now we complain more about NFTs because they're the new thing, the new trend. People are making a lot of money, and, you know,
People
I
are
don't know.
making the money that they deserve. The artists that I know of, including myself, especially in the pandemic, I was fucking struggling. Dude, like, art is a luxury. Like, especially fine art. Who's gonna buy fine art in a time when people don't know if they will keep their fucking job? So
Yeah.
the NFT thing saved so many artists' asses. Since 2008, since this whole bubble break, all the galleries, everything was next to impossible to make good money with because people didn't want to invest in art anymore. And now suddenly art became a token. It became more than just a face. It became valuable. And I met an artist in Austria. He's very famous among these groups, fine artists. And he struggled with the same fucking thing, and he was in his 50s. And now NFTs. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I couldn't complain. He didn't know when he would make his next paycheck. He had one client that would buy one painting a year for 20K. Can you imagine never knowing when your next income comes in? And he had alimony to pay. He had 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Taxes. People
That's a
don't
lot.
understand how hard it is. It's an obsession. Like, being a painter is not something you do for the money. You have no other choice. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I am inept for anything else. Like, I would die on the inside. Life wouldn't have a purpose. I would kill myself if I couldn't do art. What's the point? What's the point of life? Watch Netflix all day?
Yeah,
that's deep.
It's complicated, right? It's so complex, but so simple at the same time. It's like, do whatever you want, do what you love. But oh man, I don't know. I didn't know about most of the stuff you told us now, and I'm still processing everything. I mean, I'm thinking of your series of paintings, how's it called? Like
Skin Deep.
Skin Deep, right? And because that's like a series of paintings where you visualize emotions, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So each painting has to do with like a different emotion or representation of a sentiment, right?
They are presented in gesture, right? You know how like a crying face is like this and stuff like that.
Right.
But I took it a step further, not just gesture, but also how the skin behaves, right? So I did something really stupid that I felt freaking ashamed about, and my skin was burning. And I was imagining if a butterfly was to sit on my face, it would get stuck because it was so gluey, my skin. And then I painted this idea, this concept. And because it was the biggest of all of these emotions that I felt at the time, because I don't think that a human person ever felt anything worse than shame. We do a lot of stupid things for shame. We lie because of shame. We deceit because of shame. I made it the biggest painting that I had, 2 meters 40 by 230 centimeters. And I did that in 3 days. I painted it like my life depended on it to meet a deadline for an art contest. Guess what won? Paint splatters, as they always do. So I put the link on the resources if you want to check it out to know what I'm talking
beautiful.
about.
Nice.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
I'm actually, let me check it out. So the guys from, whoever's watching the video can see it too. Resources, right?
I mean, there's a person right in front of it, so I can't see the whole painting, but I assume that the part that's covered is also cool.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
pretty
you're so
cool.
smooth.
That's really nice, yeah.
And it's really nice how you came up with the idea, out of like an emotion, something that comes from yourself, it's not like you saw this somewhere that gave you the idea that you could, it's like you felt it inside, That's what's so
and it
cool
all starts
about
with a small sketch. I'm gonna show you like a ArtStation one, because in an ArtStation you can show the sketch, and then everything was done first as a sketch. If it works as a sketch, if it works as ugly lines on a piece of paper, it'll work anywhere, right? you guys know that. Every painter knows it has to work well as a sketch first, and then I ZBrushed it. I went into Daz Studio. I don't know if you know this program, but you get like a rigged mannequin,
like a
right?
character.
And then you can pose her to your desire, and that's what I did. And then I took her into ZBrush and I made her skin melt. The second link that I'm sending you right now, that's what I'm referring to. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, that's cool too.
All right.
Yeah, this is the one that I was watching.
Okay, so first I had this. This was after a breakup, and I missed a guy, and I was horny as fuck for him, and I was like, I will melt if I don't get laid with him. So this is what I drew, and then the left side is the Daz model, and the right one is the ZBrush, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I took it into Keyshot, and I rendered all the different types of passes that I thought would be useful. From skin pass to pearl for the glossiness, the car paint even, because that's the type of color that I wanted to go for. And then I mastered it all together in Photoshop. And the background that you see is a photograph background of the canvas that I already bought. And that was a pre-made canvas. It's Croatian canvas. And I'm saying that because I'm Croatian, and that's the one thing that I can be proud of. I've never worked on a canvas that well primed and prepped. It's hard to find canvases that are stretched in a way where they're so tight you could make music with it, because you hear like a drum, and this one it's a drum. And then I started freehand. Now I use projectors, because who the fuck has time to like keep fixing things with oil paint? But yeah,
That's what you were
and then
talking
I
about
ended up-
the murals, right? Like the way you do big paintings is to first blocking the shapes with like the help of a projector, right? So you make sure you get everything
that's how
right.
I would do it. But I don't know how the real big guys do it.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they do it. Maybe
Well,
maybe they
there's
freestyle it. I don't know.
There's this grid kind of thing that helps to make sure
I mean, that's what
nail the
Michelangelo did,
proportions. Mhm.
right? That's
Exactly.
what Michelangelo
So
did. He
that's one way.
painted it small first, had a grid, and then he literally put the grid on a bigger scale, and then he just traced it. But
Yeah.
people, I did a wall painting for someone when I was 15, 16. I used a grid, and the guy had the audacity to tell me, "Well, if you use a grid, why am I paying you?" People don't understand. Like, you help yourself out with something that is as ancient as anything. You think it's some sort of fucking magic. Like, what? If you go to an architect and you say, "Oh, if you use the plan, I'm not gonna pay you." I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like,
Jesus.
do you want the final result, or do you mind the process so much? Why do you care how I do it?
Some people, seriously.
Yeah.
But that's how dumb they are. That's why I'm so angry at artists for not sharing their technique. Like the big ones that are like, "Here is my finished work," and then everyone thinks that they just went to the toilet and shed out a masterpiece. That's not how it goes. But
yeah.
somebody has to tell them, right?
Hmm.
Sooner or later, people have to understand that, because that's why art is undervalued. No one shows how the sausage is made. If you show how it's made, if you show how much technical skill it takes, how much pain, how much sweat. This painting took 3 weeks. This is not something that I'm gonna on the side while I watch Netflix. No, this was high concentration. You have to see the values because you're so close to the canvas. You don't even see the middle gray to the darker gray anymore. You can't flip the canvas or step back in a Photoshop file. That thing is too big.
Well, I wanted to ask you, like,
get it.
you have to literally walk away from the painting, to see like the smaller version of it. So
I had 2 meters space. That's what I could do.
So I imagine you have to do that a lot, right? Because sometimes when I work, I usually use the zoom tool a lot, and I zoom out and I zoom in again and I zoom out and I zoom in again. I also have like in Photoshop you have the navigator, which is like the smaller representation of the entire canvas. So
I love the navigator.
You always
you can always see the thumbnail.
Exactly.
That's important too.
So, man, this series is so cool. Like, it's insane that you created that entire reference, for you to paint it, right? Because at that point, it looks like it's already done. Like when you pull it out of ZBrush and you do the key shot passes and everything, it's like, damn, this is it. You just slap that on a Photoshop file and you do some overpaint, and that's it. But then you use that as your reference, and this reminds me a little bit of the way James Gurney paints like those awesome scenes, the way he takes the reference pictures of his own dinosaur sculptures, he sculpts all that stuff.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he has a lot of videos on his YouTube channel. I recommend you to check it out.
I thought I watched all of them. But I watched the landscapes that he does,
It's so cool.
I had no idea that he sculpted his dinosaurs first. But it makes all the sense.
Yeah, maybe only some of them, maybe not all of them, but anyway, it was mind-blowing to see it, the way that he sculpts everything, and then he poses them and he takes the picture with the lighting, natural sunlight. It's perfect. And then you just paint that, and you add the details, and it's amazing. So
exactly, that's how you do it. I just recently did one a tarot card, and I asked my cousin to model for me because I'm the only female model for myself, and I don't want to bug anybody. But my cousin, she really likes to be in front of the camera, and this is her. And
we don't see it.
I didn't.
anymore.
Sorry, I didn't share screen.
It's okay.
Let me just do. I need to find the. It was cool because I saw you. Did you hear of Mucha? He's the Art Nouveau painter.
I didn't hear
Alphonse
about
Mucha.
Alphonse Mucha?
Yeah.
Can you check him out while I'm looking for my cousin's ref picture?
Okay.
Because I found a book about his work, and he legitimately had real life models with armor, with full armor modeling for him, and he was a poster artist. He would do poster paintings of theaters.
Alphonse
And
Mucha.
Alphonse Mucha, I think he is from Prague, but I might be wrong. I know that he had an exhibition in Prague.
I see this kind of flat color line art, right? Am I
Yeah. That's
looking
the
at the
one.
right one? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of his work. So okay, now I can share screen and show what I means. Screen 3. Okay. So when I saw what Mucha is doing with his having everything modeled out and lit, I was like, I need to do this because it heightens the quality of your work so much. If you're not there yet with your visual library, if you don't have the 30 years of practice people painting that you can just like close your eyes and make a amazing piece without reference, then I think this is the way to go because you'll learn so much while painting. And the only thing that I needed to know was, how is the lighting? What's the gesture? If I work with a corset, the anatomy of the corset needs to sit. And folding needs to work as well. And then everything else you can change. You can change the design of the dress. You can change the hairstyle. If this doesn't work for you, I can still put the hair up because I have enough pictures of her with her hair up, just in case. I even asked her to model for me with her hair up so I can see her collarbone in case that I need the hair on the side, which I then later did. Like all these things make it easier for you.
The lighting is really cool.
Thank you.
It's really awesome. Like it shows how much
you gazillion boxes for that.
I imagine like
I
you
like
think
how
a
it
lot
peeks through
about.
the chair.
Yeah,
This.
that's so cool. I would have just,
Wait,
she
whenever had the attitude.
If I ever had to take reference pictures on my own, like I wasn't really that worried about the lighting and all that stuff because I always thought, yeah, I'll figure that out later, But I think it really saves up a lot of time to spend some more time worrying about that in the beginning and nailing it. And then you just reference it straight away, You don't have to calculate the way the lighting would react in this position and from this angle and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's so much brain power going down to rendering.
Yes,
And then
exactly. I think it's worth it to invest that extra.
Reality has this imperfection in there that you just feel. And I know when I render something, I'm rendering too perfectly and it feels wrong.
Yeah.
And light has the tendency to peak in corners and places where you wouldn't expect it. And that's why I like photo references, because
you can see the little bounces and subtleties everywhere on every surface.
Yeah, and light accidents. The highlights where they shouldn't be, but it all makes it more believable.
Yeah, I don't think lighting has to be super accurate in a painting. It just has to look like it works, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, completely accurate to real life.
Yeah.
It just has to. You have to feel something from it, I feel.
Oh, yeah. It has character. It definitely works with the mood.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, how did this transition into the tarot kind of thing? You started talking about it like a few minutes ago, but I wondered how did you come up with that idea? Like, is this something you started long ago and you retook it recently, or?
Yeah, so I started it at Nomen. I started with, I think this was one of the first ones, the 8 of Swords. I am a little bit spiritually interested. Like I was always interested in magic, and because I'm such an impatient person, I guess that's why I always want to know what happens in the future. So someone who's into magic and someone who's impatient and wants to know what happens in the future, boom, you have tarot cards. And the thing about tarot cards, at least the ones that we know, famously, it's the Rider-Waite tarot deck. It's cool and everything, but it doesn't look that great anymore. It's like vintage, you know? And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could draw my own deck within the symbolisms of the original, right? But it's cool. It's like
with
fresh.
your style, you know, like with your art style, I would say.
Yeah,
Man, this
like
one
I
is
think
so
it
cool.
was.
Temperance.
This is me borrowing a lot from Peter
That's
Moabach.
cool.
Yeah, it
Do you know the
reminds
guy?
me. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
awesome.
So let me.
Angelarium, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
so
that guy
cool.
has amazing stuff. Like when you look at his work, and when I saw his work, he paints angels, right?
Mhm.
And I thought, well, that's the only angel I will accept in my fantasy. It's not cheesy. It's almost creepy. Like those angels are not something you want to fuck with, right?
Yeah.
What is he smoking?
I have no idea. And he looks so down to earth. He looks like such a normal dude, and then he creates these things. Insane. Yeah, so I really, this was me trying to come as close as possible to his skill level, borrowing from his shape language and color palette and how he sets things up and stuff. And this was you can tell the difference between these two and these, because here I used solid reference. Like I used a photo reference for this one, whereas I didn't have a single proper picture for that one, nor that one. And these happened in the same year, so that's what I'm saying when I mean like reference really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they also have like their own particular interesting things, you know, because you have to complete that lack of reference with your own understanding of your, you know, the way everything you've learned so far. You have to put it in practice at that time.
Yeah, it's a good test.
Yeah.
It's a good test. It's just problematic when you have a series and then you can really tell, okay, this she did 5 years ago and this one is new.
But hey,
So,
was it
for example,
was it a deliberate decision to not use reference, or was it just like I can't find anything for this, so I'll have to
I
go
was
without
just
it.
lazy. I was just lazy. You know when you're like you have this idea and you just want to start, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
in
yeah.
the end it'll take you way
Tell me
longer
about
to
it.
do it because you're not prepared. Yeah, you can relate.
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
That was
Very
it.
much.
That was it.
Mhm.
I was too lazy to set someone up in this position with da 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 and getting the costume and whatnot, like I'm used to from the sketch group. I
Yeah.
was like, I can wing it. I was streaming when I was painting the fool, and I was crying. Like you could see how I'm so frustrated. My eyes are getting red. My eyes fill up, and I'm ashamed of myself that I cannot push it further. That I cannot meet my desired requirements. It's so frustrating when you cannot be the artist that you imagine yourself to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's always a struggle.
Yeah. Especially when you know how good all these other assholes are. Like I look at Dom's work, I'm like, or at yours for that matter, Adrian. Sorry.
I think
Like seriously.
we all
I
feel
can't
that way
paint
about
realism.
our, you know, someone else, right? Oh man, the
You did
name
something really cool recently.
the name you can find the day you can find me on Google with only Adrian. That would mean like
It's the day you buy me
Dude.
coffee.
absolute
That's my favorite
success.
piece.
Thanks a lot,
is
bros.
when I saw this, you know how some things just burn themselves into your retinas and you close your eyes and you can see the shape?
Yeah.
That's what you did here. Like I close
Damn.
my eyes and I see that's how good it works. Like the design, the shape, you see that. The lighting, perfect. The composition and the execution.
Makes me smile because I went through so many decision-making struggles when I was coming up with this piece, you know. It started with this sensation of adrenaline, like I'm just jumping, you know, let's dive into this, right? So I try to convey the sensation through some composition, and I came up with the sketch. I actually have this recorded. I think I'll make a YouTube video about that or something.
Yeah, you should. I want to see this.
To explain it. And I basically went through a lot of, you know, like a succession of reference gathering and test and failure, and this doesn't work, and no, not like that, and not this pose and not that pose, that I basically got to this point where I was like, by the way, this is the longest painting I have ever done. And the longest, I mean, it took the longest time to make, you know. I think it took like a year, right? That never happened to me.
I didn't know that.
So you kept going back to it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I spent like 1 year working on it every day. It means that I started it, right?
Crazy.
I worked on it like for a few days, and I was like, nah, this is not working, you know, like forget about it. And then I came back to it like a few months later, and again the same sensation. But every time I was coming back to it, like I would make some progress. You know, I wouldn't realize, but I would make some progress. And then you know, for one last time, I said, you know what, let's finish this one. It's been a year, dude. Like, what are you doing? So I think it was the perfect moment to do that because it matched with so many emotional and, you know, personal stuff that was going on in my life at the time. And it really matched the sensation I wanted to convey here. Like, this is meant to be the main character just showing off, you know, how confident he is, how he's jumping into this void, you know, which is like an ocean of clouds. That's from my story of Heavenurian. And you're not meant to do that. Okay, you're not meant to go like this, you know, this way into it. You're meant to be climbing down carefully, you know, very careful. And this guy is like so experienced. He knows his shit so much that he just dives into it, you know. And it's funny because this was shared so many times on Instagram, you know, and I saw some people commenting stuff like, oh, that's not gonna fly, you know, like the art is nice, but the design is like those wings are not, the physics. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, it's not meant to fly, you know. That's meant to do something else that I'll reveal later, you know.
But that's obvious.
I was basically trying to, I mean, you see this and it's pretty obvious that this is not meant to fly, you know. It represents that intention because I try to convey the same sense of this symbol, you know, that has those rings and they contain those panels that are supposed to behave like feathers, you know, but from a symbolical perspective, not like a functional one, right? Yeah. The function of this comes later when you're already into that, you know, into that sea of clouds right there. That's where they do what they have to do, but not here in the air. So anyway, I just appreciate your feedback and your nice words on this. It really means a lot because it means this piece meant a lot to me. It still means a lot to me, and it took so long to do it that it felt so.
This is a milestone piece.
I think this is my ArtStation post that, you know, the only ArtStation post that I've ever published that got to so many likes. You know, it got so much visibility. The rest of them kind of close, but never that much. So I guess there is something about this painting, you know, that catches the attention. So I appreciate it.
It's because your focal point is so concrete. You know, when I look at the other ones in the same line, they are very much everywhere. There's no focal point, like value-wise, because you're very smooth everywhere when it comes to the lighting and stuff like this. Soft. Or it's everywhere saturated or vibrant or something like that. So maybe that's something for you to keep in mind the next time you create a piece where you're like, okay, value-wise, we gotta have this one kick-ass focal point. Everything can be epic, but this one focal point that catches the eye on a thumbnail, that people click on it and are like, wow.
Yeah, it has to stand out somehow.
Yeah. And you did that here. That's a milestone piece. That's a huge level up.
Thanks
You
a
have the
lot.
same thing with the on the second row with on the left side with the snout that is on lit and the silhouette of the guy. Again, focal point, like that shit. People click on that.
Yeah.
It's all about the contrast.
It also, this thing about making, like, coming up with expectations about, oh man, this painting is gonna be so cool, people are gonna love it, and you expect them to click on it and like it and share it and all that stuff, and then it doesn't happen. And I know this happens all the time. Some stuff you post that you expected to do very well on a social media level, ends up not being that successful.
Yeah.
And you're like, how can you guys prefer this stupid sketch that I did to this polished painting that I spent so long on,
Oh, I know.
That happens.
That's what's going on with me right now. The tarot cards are not doing as well, but it's my project.
Yeah.
Dom, do you need a break?
Huh? No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I can stand for however long.
Nice.
Yeah,
Because I'm really enjoying this episode. It's
I'm just
really
like looking through the profiles on my phone. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we know that'll happen. But if the project itself means something to you, and you know the value it has to you, then you don't care about that stuff. Like it happens to me. I don't care if this one gets like 300 likes and this other one gets 1,000 likes. If in my mind it's the opposite way, the value should be distributed in the opposite way, I would be fine with that. If you're aware.
Also, for you, this is a whole project, as it is for me, right?
Yes.
Like there is a bigger piece behind it. So
exactly.
In many ways, like in the fine art world, galleries do like series. They don't like single pieces. And they go as far as to say you must not change the medium that you use for the entire series. So if you say that you want to paint once on canvas and once on a piece of paper, they don't like that. You can't change from oil painting to acrylics either. So
wow, so it becomes like a contract with like specifications and requirements?
That's what I hear from fine artists. They're like, my gallery doesn't like to do that. So
if you do it this way, then yes. But if you do it that way, no. Right? That kind
people love cohesiveness. It goes everywhere. Like from how your Instagram looks with your little tiny grid stuff. Don't dare to change anything. Don't dare to put a portrait in there if you had vehicles in there for the past year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
This.
That kind of looks cool, right? But what if at some point you feel like, I don't want to do it this way anymore. I feel like doing it this way instead. So that's why I
prepare to lose followers.
Exactly. I mean, do you know Ramon Nunez?
No.
Okay. This guy, I remember I started following him back in 2015 or something. He was making...
How do I write him?
Yeah, like that.
Really? I can't find him on ArtStation.
Okay.
Are you a real artist if you're not on ArtStation?
No, it's... Give me a second. I'm going to find it for you. Because there's this special letter in Spanish, that is like a...
Okay, I found a storyteller.
No, dude, this is not him. That's the first one. The first one. Ramon 90.
The first one. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So, do you see this style? When I started following this guy, he was doing like really nice painterly but realistic studies of girls in all sorts of lighting scenarios, really, really cool. I was like, damn, this guy is really good, man. And then he started, switching that style to more like what you see here, more stylized type of characters. And I think this is how you reinvent yourself. This is how that rule of if you change, you're going to lose followers and stuff like that. That might happen temporarily until you find your new audience. That's what I think, you suddenly open up to this whole bunch of new possibilities and they find you, right? And I mean, check his numbers. This guy is around 100K or something, I think. Maybe more.
But I think that none of the things that he does is out of the ordinary.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Almost 400K. Okay.
Everything that he does is still within the same realm of popular, right?
I think it's because of his style.
It's the style.
He has his own style now,
and he's now starting to animate these things as well. So I think he also has his own IP. Like he's coming up with some. I'm not sure what it is, a book or a comic or. Anyway, he has
but this is something I would never do. Copying someone else's work and doing it in your style.
Like this?
Not a big fan of that. Yeah, because this is clout hunting, really. It's like when you make a YouTube video because you know of a subject matter that is very popular right now.
Oh,
right?
like reacting to
reacting to whatever is going I mean, he has a whole series on Game of Thrones. I assume that was when Game of Thrones was huge, right? It doesn't make him less of a good artist. It just tells me that what's your personality? What do you want to say? Because the worst thing is having super skill, but you have no personality.
Well,
could be
I would
anybody.
The trends or something.
I would say the personality shows through the style he paints this in, right? Because
Sure, but he's not telling his story. He's not telling. I mean, come on! If you're already an artist,
I get
then,
what you mean. Yeah.
I'm not asking you to write a book, right? But let's say you run through life and you see something cute out there, and then you decide to make your own interpretation about it, or something horrific for that matter.
I honestly think fan art is a very effective way to get the numbers going. To get people following. Yeah. And maybe that was his technique to do this. His strategy was to just
for sure. I don't think that he was having fun drawing the fucking whole cast of Game of Thrones. He knew that his livelihood depends on this shit.
I mean, maybe he likes this. I have no idea if he likes it or not. But maybe if you like something so much, and you start drawing that, maybe. I mean, why not? There's cases and cases, I'm sure, but. All I'm saying is
I think he was in need of some studies. I think he was in need of some studies.
Yeah. I mean that will help a lot as well, to do studies.
Yeah,
and
but
stuff.
I can see the thing is I'm not sure how much of this is fan art because I'm not in the anime world because some of these characters look familiar, others don't.
That's the thing that I think most of these things are from his. See, that's him right there with the iPad and.
Where? This?
Yeah. So he's basically, I see the Joker there as well on the left side out of this picture. But you see. So I think that what he did was he seeks pictures online, on Pinterest, and he finds this nice reference that he likes a lot, and then he makes it into his style, and then it's so mixed up, right? You can see the girl from The Fifth Element there. Maybe the next thing you see is a reference picture from Pinterest mixed with something he has on his mind. Then, but I really enjoy this. I have a hard time doing this, And what I mean by this is that I don't enjoy depicting ordinary, everyday life situations. Someone waiting on the bus station, or see that girl just.
Chilling.
You know what? Yeah, you know what I mean, right? With the phone and everything, and then the other one is drinking, milk or whatever that is from the store. But what's nice from this is that you can add them your own twist. See, maybe this was not in the original reference. That guy was not supposed to be dead right there because she killed him with the gun, right?
Yeah, maybe that's something. This is storytelling. This is some cool shit.
Exactly. So
But I'm hoping that this is his story.
Exactly. That's what I admire from him, you know. You mean his story from a point of view where there's a continuation to this somewhere else? Or the very storytelling within this particular image? Because I'm okay with both. I'm okay with both of them, you know. Like, either if this continues or not, I don't care. This is awesome, you know.
I think every image can say a whole story. It's just like, this is one of those draw this in your style.
Yeah.
So basically this already exists. So yeah, I don't know. He should start doing his own stories, I think.
But that's what I'm telling you.
Better that way.
He is. I think it's right there in the highlighted stories up there. Patreon prints, art process brushes. Maybe there's something else on the right side. There's like an arrow right there. I think you're gonna go through the whole story here. But see, this is how it goes, man. It's so interesting the way he starts with those lines, and then he does everything in Procreate. That's another one. You know, I have a hard time using the iPad, dude. I seriously.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm used to my keyboard way too much. You know, I need my keyboard. So I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, you know, some of my best pieces also came from a sketch that I did on my iPad, because that's something I can really use it for, to sketch. I sketch.
Yeah,
on the
you can
iPad,
lean back, sit in bed, have
Yeah.
something running on the background.
Yeah, and then you continue somewhere else. But I don't know. I'm starting to also try to use some more my VR set, because I just got it recently, and it's
that's cool stuff.
It's so awesome. It's really cool. So have you ever tried VR? Have you ever?
Yeah, I have it here.
You
I didn't
have it
want to
too?
leave it in the car because I was afraid that somebody might steal it. Everything I have is in a car right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a nice way to add to your process. So
Especially because you can use your body to paint. I
That's
know
so
that I painted the beach in VR, and it's like, it's so trippy because at the beach you already built a sandcastle, so I was making a beach to make a sandcastle with in VR.
that's so cool. What program did you use?
I think that was 2 years ago. Quill? Is it
Quill?
called Quill?
Yeah, the one that Goro Fujita uses a lot, and he makes those awesome.
There's also
I love
Yeah.
him. I love what he does. He made This is so okay. Facebook. He made 3 leaves dance and to this perfect song, and every time I'm sad, I have to put the song up, and it makes me happy again, because these leaves, they're dancing like this. Like, they're just going up and down, and they're so cute. The music is so cute, and it keeps stuck in my... Oh god, I gotta show you.
You know what? I tried Quill this very morning, and man, they have this animation thing as well. The tool, you know, the whole panel with all the buttons to go through the keyframes and everything.
It looks like a plane, right, on the inside.
Yeah, exactly,
many
like a
buttons.
spaceship, you know. So I was like, damn, this is pretty advanced for me right now, you know. And that's the leaf you mentioned?
No, that was it's a jiggling something. He has 1 art a day. Like, this guy doesn't sleep. I have to find it again.
Can't do that.
I worked on a game, like, we did everything of the game art in Quill. It just released like Friday, I think.
Nice.
Everything about the game, like the whole 3D, the whole animation, everything, it's done entirely inside of Quill. It's a...
It was this Friday, right?
What?
When it released.
Yeah, it was this Friday. It's weird that you guys are talking about Quill now. It's a really amazing program. Like, it's different from anything else in 3D world. And I assume, like, because we were tired of 3D the traditional way, that was like a breath of fresh air to be...
I found it. Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
I can hear it.
It's really cool that
perfect.
he works these videos with the audio and everything. That's so cool, man.
It's crazy how that's in Quill. It's like really
Yeah.
like high
I mean,
It's
it's-
rendered in Octane. Like
Yeah,
he
it's-
animates
Oh, I
and
see.
makes everything equal, and then
it's like,
but
that's pretty
still,
good
it's-
quality.
Yeah.
but it's awesome.
Yeah,
Man.
I can have this running for 30 minutes, not getting bored, and staying in the same mood.
Put it as a screensaver. But
I
yeah,
should
it's
save it somewhere.
it's really
I'll share
impressive.
it on my wall.
The quality you can get with this only makes me want to learn more about 3D, you know, because there's a lot of concepts that I think about that no matter how much I try to sketch, you know, they sooner or later they will turn complex enough for me to need to represent them in 3D somehow and explore new camera angles, or you know, in VR, like, for
Lenses.
instance, I use Gravity Sketch, and Gravity Sketch is so easy to grab something and copy it and just change it, you know, like put it whatever you want on the other side. Or
Is it free?
now it's free. Yes,
Right
they
now,
made it
yeah.
free very recently. Like exactly when I got my VR set.
Oh, it's free now?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Spent $20.
wait, you made that?
That's when I got the first quest. I have the first one.
But that was when, a year ago? Because this happened like this year, I think.
I think he turned free like a month ago at maximum.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty recent.
Okay.
But if you like paid for it, you have some additional like what's it called resources on the platform. So don't feel too bad about it.
I don't
Yeah.
think I even used it though. So
The thing is that I would love Gravity Sketch to be like somehow merged with Adobe Medium, you know, to have this destructive method kind of thing, you know, to work with like voxels, because I'm not sure how each program works, but what I see in Medium is that you can basically sculpt, you know, like literally sculpt, put in or take out whatever you want in any shape you want. However, it doesn't have that same level of complex editing, you know, on each stroke that, and that's what Gravity Sketch has. It's way cleaner.
so you can collaborate with another person.
Not in Medium, I think. That's something I only know you can do in Gravity Sketch because I saw Jama doing it, you know.
Yeah. It says they're collaborating in real time.
That's so cool though. Like, can you imagine, like, we collaborate on something at the same time, like we're sculpting something. Man, that's so cool. I saw Jama doing that with someone else on a on an event. I think it was at London. What was the one there? Industry workshops. So I saw him creating this guy, you know, this character, and I forgot the name of the other artist, but he was working on the shoulder and Jama was working on the feet, and you know, it's like, it's a different mood, man. It's a different kind of thing. Like, can you imagine an entire team? That's what I heard him say all the time. Like, imagine the future with this would be amazing, you know, because an entire team and the art director comes in and, you know, checks out how it's going, like inside of the virtual room with you guys, and I think it's up to 16 people. I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but it's a lot of people, right, to do stuff at the same time. So yeah,
This is so
I'm just
cool.
too excited about it.
We should do that. We should collaborate.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Maybe we can try Magma Studio maybe in some other episode and see what we can come up with, and then
No, I want us to collaborate in VR.
Yeah, also
Come on.
VR, of course. But yeah, that would be so cool. So
I would love that, man. Like,
yeah,
imagine. Because I love what you did with you've done these really cool, nice little huts, and I imagine you've done them in this Gravity Sketch.
I'm not sure. I don't think I've posted anything I've done in
You
VR.
showed me how you 3D things first, and then you paint over them, and you do those huts. These
Oh,
were in
yeah.
3D.
Yeah, these ones were not done in VR, but it was the closest thing that I've ever had to VR when I didn't have VR, right? So that was 3D Code, and what I liked from it is that it shares the same system that works with voxels. So you basically paint 3D stuff in the air, whereas in ZBrush, you have to bring something like a sphere or something and manipulate that. Well, in this case, you just paint, you click and meshes appear in the air, right? And then
that's so cool.
Yeah. So that's the way I did it this way. And by the way, I spent a long time doing this, and that time flew by so fast because you get sucked into the flow. And yeah,
I think you get sucked into this God complex where you can create something. Like, I'm not being disparaging towards you because I know exactly how this feels.
I know, I understand. I didn't take it the wrong way.
It's like being a gamer because you at home it sucks. So you lose yourself in the game, right? And this is a whole new level. You create your own game. You create your own reality, your own universe, your own culture, the shape language.
That's the way I feel
there
in
is
VR.
nothing better.
When you're
there's nothing
inside
better
there
than making you
with the 3D model, and you can literally look around. Like I remember I did this and I showed you guys. I did this same design, but like updated, in VR. That was my first take on this with Gravity Sketch, and it was so cool to just make you the size of those people there and look up upwards, and I was like, wow, dude, this is amazing. It almost feels like you're right there.
Yeah.
Even though you don't have the cool visuals, the cool textures and all that stuff, it's such a different feeling to see it physically, next to you.
Especially if you're the artist, you can fill in the blanks. You know where what goes.
Exactly, because you already have it in your mind. So. But it's a definitely a really cool experience. So, all right, we were talking about your the tarot thing, right? Is this
right?
Do you have any plans for like releasing this? Is gonna be a real tarot deck?
Yeah, but there's no release date because fucking life, you never know what happens, right? So
you're just working on it out of pure passion, right?
Out of pure passion and pure necessity, because it also serves as a portfolio, right? As soon as it's out, I upload it, and it also shows, it proves, okay, Tiana can stick to a thing for a change, right? Like,
I see.
I change professions every year. Every year, either I'm a 3D artist, I was an archviz. Like, if you look at my portfolio, it looks like I'm tripping. Okay. Okay, so this is 2019. Me doing an entire apartment from scratch. Some of the things that are in there are downloaded, but most importantly, all these like furniture pieces, they are modeled by me because the client said, I want pieces from this exact store. So I went into the internet, looked up the pieces, how big they are orthographically, and also the notes on the centimeters and stuff. Then I did the entire building for the whole thing. We lost he went to pee probably.
Dude, that looks so cool. Like it's very well integrated. I like it a lot.
So I created an entire like building complex out of cubes, and then I lit it the way this is lit, right? To put shadows on the building.
Yeah.
This is a Google Street View image because at the time when I started it was winter and everything was ugly, so I took a Google Street View in summer.
You even removed the stickers from the car?
Yeah, apparently I did. Can't believe it. And same with this one. Like this was just renewing the facade. But I did the whole facade in 3D. I baked this stuff actually. This is already game, kind of more into the game direction than movie direction, or yeah.
It's so surprising to see, low poly, game ready stuff looking like so
good.
Yeah, and
like
and
you can count the amounts of pulleys in a hand. Detailed. You see a couch that has like 10 pulleys, and then look at it's all in the baking.
Yeah.
And
textures
this
are
is
amazing.
All stuff that pays the bills, and it keeps me fresh in Maya.
Wait, so this is recent stuff?
Yeah, this is like 2020, 2021.
Wow. See, this is what's so surprising to know, you know, because you see your gallery, you're painting all those cards, you know, that particular art style and all that stuff. And then on the other hand, you're also doing this, which I don't think many people get to see this because, you know, they all pay attention to that stuff first, you know. And I'm not sure if you have it on your Instagram, but...
I have a 3D Instagram as well, but see the thing is people don't believe.
Oh, you have a separate account?
Yeah.
Oh,
people
okay.
don't believe that this is 3D. They look at it, they think it's a photograph, and then I lose followers, and it's just it's better if I have them separated so everything looks kind of together. So like
yeah, I know you had a different account for your tarot project.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had
that was
another
necessary to at least be in the community of the tarot artists, right? Because that's the future customers, right?
Yeah.
And here these are it's nice to have a nice page for product visualization in case there's a company that is like interested in seeing what I do also. So I guess having a lot of eggs in the basket is a good and a bad thing at the same time, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah,
and these
I
are
also
then
guess
completely
it depends
different
on the
things, right?
Yeah, it depends on the case. I don't know.
But that's the thing with me. It's really frustrating. Every piece is different, you know.
Man, it's like so much detail.
See, I designed toothbrushes as well.
It's so I don't know the word, but it's so similar to the sketch, like it's really exact. I don't know.
Yeah. And as you can see, every piece is different depending on the story. Like this is a whole story. Like this is called the Love Cell series, and this is about prostitution in the future, how it's going to be changed because of the robots. Once robots and artificial intelligence, when they merge, you know, they're gonna be sometimes more.
I like the dog.
More attractive to a customer.
Sitting next to them.
And this scene, for example, the one below the cute dog is about how we have 3 strippers in this bathroom that are looking at this Korean-looking prostitute robot, and they're like, she's gonna take our job away because
like they're
this
gossiping
little
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like this little missy, she doesn't have to take 7 days off a month because she's on her period, right? Then you have this tampon over there that says "Real women bleed," to like tell her "fuck off, you don't belong here." You know,
man, there's definitely a lot of that. Yeah. Me neither. Now that I zoomed in.
Yeah, this is things that I like to think about how the future is going to change. I don't think that sexism, racism, all this bullshit is gonna stop in the future just because we're smarter. It's all gonna stay, but it's gonna take a completely new complexity level, right? Now that we are introducing more genders, imagine next thing is gonna be complications like this, for example. In this story, this is more of a symbolic retelling, but the story pretty much belongs into the Love Cell series, where we already have surrogate people taking care of the childbearing for other people that cannot do it for whatever reason, right? Imagine we outsource this need to robots, right? Because somehow we can already make life appear in a tank, but I read that it's a huge necessity to have a body that is connected to the fetus, because the brain already starts learning in the pregnancy stage, right? So when the mother feels an emotion, the baby picks up on it and stores it, and it becomes part of its own palette, its own emotional palette. So that's why super intelligent artificial intelligence would be necessary for robots giving birth to humans. And then I was thinking, what would the first robot human birth be portrayed as? And then I was thinking of the Virgin Mother Mary, because this robot didn't necessarily have sex with a human being to end up inseminated. And who else is God now It's us. So we created the Virgin Mother Mary, inseminate her with our godly seed, and create this little Jesus thing that is the savior, hopefully, of the next generation. And
The son
that's
of a
what
man and a robot.
the son of a.
That's a cool concept. This
But
whole
then
thing
imagine-
you
and-
just told us. You know.
This is you know who stole it? Westworld. They saw this. They changed their intro for the second season. Did anybody ask me? Did anybody credit me?
Really?
Nobody cared. Yeah, go check it out. Look at the intro first season, intro second
I've never
season.
seen Westworld. I think I understand. I know.
So
what
they
it is
took
about,
this
but-
concept. They took this concept even down to the lighting. The only thing that they don't have is the shape where you can see the rib cage and the spine.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even the position with the mother and the child, all the same. This went viral on Reddit. That's why.
Oh, no.
An art station,
So
I
how
think.
how do you
so.
feel about that?
I'm annoyed because I'm thinking it's so hard for me to find work, and then there's these little fuckers that steal my ideas.
Yeah.
But then again, I stole too. Come on, like this is a shape design Art Nouveau, Art Deco. So Alfonso Mucha, I borrowed from a lot. Then we will look at Orthodox Christian art with all this gold and stuff.
Okay, but
So there's a lot of,
that's
like,
details,
influences.
right? That's details you're stealing from other people. Stealing, right? It's not that you're stealing the entire concept, which is what I understand
Yeah.
from your story. That's what they
Yeah,
did.
and I'm not sure if Westworld is implying that a robot is giving birth to a human baby. It's more like both are robots, but they
Oh,
look like
okay.
humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
So.
just the very feeling of, knowing that it's awful, to know that
Yeah.
they used your
For example, the tarot card project, I was discussing it with the CFO of ZBrush on lunch. And then suddenly the ZBrush Summit's theme was tarot.
Did you say something about this on your Instagram or something?
No, we talked about it in the stream, probably.
In the stream? Because it rings a bell, this whole conversation,
Yeah.
or maybe I saw it myself, the ZBrush.
Yeah. But it's
the event.
cool because then I assume, okay, so
When was this, by
at
the
the
way?
time
Few months ago?
Cyberpunk was made, our conversation?
No. The whole ZBrush Summit
No,
thing.
the ZBrush Summit was years ago. I started the Tarot project years ago. At the time,
Okay.
Cyberpunk was made. Listen to this. At the time, Cyberpunk was made. Now, Cyberpunk has Tarot in its project, and I'm thinking that the ZBrush Summit influenced that. You know what I mean? Like everything is
Yeah.
kind of connected,
Mhm.
and that's maybe my narcissism, but I know for a fact that I told the CFO of ZBrush that I'm doing a tarot card project which is heavily based on my tools using of ZBrush, and he was like, "Oh, cool. Well then, taking credit for it.
Yeah.
That's how it works in the world."
Write that down.
Yeah, but seriously, don't tell anyone what. You're smart about it. You're not telling anyone your story. You're just uploading pictures. That's it. But
Yeah,
see,
it comes from
it's good to make things like that interesting because the more people know about certain things, the more
Yeah.
potential buyers you have. So it's not a loss. It's just annoying that you don't get credited or that not doors open for you. They stay closed. Someone else gets the reward.
This is the first time I'm doing this, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it the right way or the wrong way. I'm just going for it as I think it's better for everything. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe other people have their different ways. I've heard
I think
everything.
yours is totally legit. It
people
keeps
saying-
everyone curious.
People saying, "No, you have to put it out there, all of it. Don't worry," and other people saying, "Dude, be careful because this can happen and this can happen."
Yeah,
and
of course.
And then you're like, "Oh, wait a minute." You feel like those two angels on your shoulders, and like,
Yeah,
which one do I listen
but
to?
both are right. It's just pick your fucking poison. What can you live with?
Yeah.
Someone stealing your work or nobody knowing about it?
Exactly. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this whole thing is so cool. Like that cyberpunk vibe. I like it a lot.
it feels nostalgic to me. It feels like a place I've been before. Everything feels I don't know, maybe I was a prostitute in a future life, a bionic artificial intelligent prostitute. And that's why I can relate. I'm warning humanity. This one, for example, is about a guy that is like twice divorced. He lost faith in love, and then he sees this ad on a billboard. Get your ex back, and it's not really your ex, but I mean as close as possible. So
Looks
he picks
like her.
he picks this girl that he dated when he was 16, has all the Facebook comments and videos on the phone, sends it to the company. They do a deep fake scan of her face, of her voice, of her mannerisms, even some
just to replicate
things that she would use to say in a way. Yeah.
To replicate
so this
everything.
Is the post-nuptials of the first night after he unpacked her and tried her out. And you can look, you can see in his face, it's not the same. He looks at her and he's just thinking, I wish I didn't give you up at that time.
He doesn't.
How easy.
He doesn't really look like a happy man,
No.
I wonder what those marks on his arm are. Just
these
tattoos?
are just sketches of a possible tattoo. So now when I look at this, I'm thinking, I have to paint over it because I can paint better now. But the story holds up. The story, the shapes, the.
And by the way, do you write this in the description or something somewhere?
No, this is a story that makes sense for me. That's in my head. The same with this one. Like, this is two girls catching up, charging up their batteries, and eating is retro, right? Because they don't have to, so they pretend. And I'm thinking, we do so many things that we don't need to do anymore. Like,
right, because the food is like just holograms, right?
Yeah. The food is holograms.
That's so awesome.
Oh,
it's like a way to like interpret how it used to be, for them.
Yeah.
Who are beings who don't really need to eat, right? Because they're robots.
We are playing vinyls, right?
Yeah.
Because it's cool, chic, and retro. Why would that not happen in the future? Like, they're actually sitting their butts on charging stations. But it's not about that. It's about the doing things and talking and chilling.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I would love to see what you just told us. Unless you only want to let people know about this through like podcasts or interviews like this. I would love to see that on like right under the image, to read about this little story. Like, that's what actually Dom does with some of his posts on Instagram. He recently started to introduce people to this story, so each of those awesome paintings that you see on his gallery would be narrated in the description, like telling you a little bit of the story of what's going on
which
there.
heights interest. But I'm so precious about these stories, And that's this fucking thing that bothers me these days. Artists are seen as hands without a brain. So when you get hired, don't ask questions, don't have an opinion. We have a writer for that, right?
Yeah.
And I think legitimately, more than my work, more than my skill set, my stories are my best asset. They really are. They are what drives everything else. They are what motivates me to sit on a piece for weeks on end, because I know that the story has to be told. It's worth telling, and it's relatable. Like, you see superheroes left and right. That's why I'm saying I was arrogant. I was at Fuse FX for an internship interview that was an unpaid internship interview without public transport money or anything. So I would pay $20 just to appear there every day, right? And I sat there and I look at the posters and I'm thinking, I'm bored. I tell them, look, guys, everyone can do superheroes. They don't mean anything. Like, superheroes are unrelatable and kind of cheap. And they hated me for it. I'm like, yeah, how about mothers? They're superheroes. And I was thinking not of a normal mom. I was thinking of this.
Yeah.
But they didn't see that. They didn't see what I meant. They didn't see the whole concept that I had behind. It is much better than a freaking dude in panties, right?
I think it's all about the background story, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who the character is, like, as long as the story is entertaining and it's like not necessarily. Sorry, I didn't mean to say entertaining. I meant to say resonating, inspiring, that you can connect with it somehow because you relate to it. That's what I see characters as in stories.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a video game or a film or a book. I don't care. If I can relate to that guy or to that girl because they're in that situation, that I can relate to it. It's like, I love them so much because they did what I...
Can you relate to the Hulk smashing the whole city and the next day everything's okay? I don't know.
Yeah, you can't relate to that,
why
but you can probably relate to the other aspect of his life,
Of course.
where he's in this position where he's like cursed in some way, right? So he can't have a normal life, and he wants to have
like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you watch The Chronicle, where there's 3 dudes who find something this kryptonite like, and they touch it, and suddenly they have superpowers, and they film everything with a cam.
Yeah, I now remember. Yeah, Chronicle.
Like that's cool.
It was like this handheld camera thing, right? All the time.
Handheld camera all the way, and because they could do telekinesis, that camera was floating around, and they could like do all kinds of crap, like from moving cars to flying themselves. It was epic. It was relatable, and the guy one of the guys lost himself. And he from superhero to super trash man, and that's one of those things where I'm like, it's not as super fancy, colorful, explosive as the Hollywood movies usually are like, and that's what makes it relatable because it's simple. I'm just bored by these cash cows, these make money really fast and bang and boom and boom.
Yeah,
and,
I guess we all appreciate when someone comes with something that defies the pre-established standards, where the story has to go like this, They're like this, they struggle, then they win, and that's it. Happy ending,
Well, even so you boil down every person's life, right? That works. But it's just the circumstance that is kind of... I understand that it has fans, but I don't understand the hype. Like, it's just too...
I guess everything has an audience,
Yeah.
You just gotta find it.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I guess I haven't changed. It's still the same opinion as back then.
So, what do you feel like now in your life in terms of your career? Like where you're headed?
Dude, I don't know.
I'm asking you because I see you've been through so many different, 3D, and now selling paintings and painting because you feel like it and expressing all those emotions, and then I wonder what's next, that kind of feeling.
Well, I would like to get into games, especially for the future, because VR is going to be super cool, especially in the education sector. Like, can you imagine?
And then AR, is going to be the next thing as well.
AR, great for medicine and all small things, but I'm thinking, imagine a school trip into the past, right?
Yeah.
Walking through medieval streets, visiting a pharmacy, how it looked like back then, shit like that. I would kill to model a pharmacy from 1,000 years ago, right? And then standing inside of it and almost smelling the fumes of lead and all these toxic things that you're not supposed to fuck around with.
Dude, I've always thought about the smell and wouldn't it be awesome to be able to also include that into the feedback thing? That would be insane. Like, to also show the way.
That would be overkill. People would lose their minds, right?
For sure.
Scent is like the one thing that drives your believability. Like scent picks up on things that you didn't even notice. So imagine you're in like a medieval street where you smell shit and piss. You would fucking piss yourself out of fear. Like, you'd be like, what's going on? People already like get dizzy from VR the way it is now.
Imagine adding that thing as well,
Oh my god. People would forget to take the glasses off. I would rather be somewhere else. No, but yeah, seriously. If you have any contacts in Valencia, because I'm moving there now, let me know. Connect me with whoever you think, because at this point, I'm free.
Sure, no problem. I'll let you know. Anything I can do to help you? Here I am.
And hang out, hopefully.
Oh, that would be so cool to meet up one day. Definitely. Dude, you're gonna love it. I'm just telling you. It's gonna be so awesome, especially in summer. You know. Hopefully, current times restrictions and all that stuff is not gonna be an obstacle. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a hell of a time for you. You're gonna love it. So
Yeah, I heard that the quarantines are not as bad anymore. That you can go grab a drink and stuff.
yeah, recently they're not very good for groups, but it works well for a few people. So yeah,
Well, better than nothing.
definitely. So I don't know. It's been a crazy episode, dude. I'm telling you. I'm so glad you came here. You
A
accepted.
lot of insightful stuff.
Yeah.
And
And
also,
great pieces.
a little bit all over the place. You are a hard character to figure out. Like, honestly, and in a good way, actually. It's you have a weird career, and I hope like it gets weirder because it's so interesting to see.
It's not called a career. I think it's more like gigging. Just gigging. From one gig into the other and see where it goes. It's
figuring out the next
was-
step.
Yeah, it's because where I live here, there's not much to do in that area, and now remote work is becoming more of a thing. So let's hope that possibilities are gonna arrive from that. I want to thank you guys for your patience with my intense talking. I promise you, I'm not usually like that. It's just when I
It's
have to
alright.
retell my story,
Well,
I refuse it again.
I'm glad you spoke because I was like, I didn't know what to say. I'm not even feeling like an artist anymore after seeing all of that. So it's
Why?
like, these are the like, I don't know how you all seem so connected with feelings and emotions and things like that. It's
I'm a woman.
weird and foreign to me.
She has to
No, but
express
like,
herself, man.
well, what the hell are you talking about? You two are like that as well. So and it was so inspiring to see like how free from any constraints like you made yourself to be. It seemed, like looking from my perspective, of course, and you went through some struggles and some things that are unimaginable to me, and even then like you are still so passionate about what you do and what like we do. Sometimes when you are working, it's easy to like treat it just like a job, and when I find people like you, I'm reminded of like the reasons why we do what we do. And
Really?
oh yeah, of course. Like I'm not joking. It's deeper than it seems, to see people that are actually passionate about what they do, that put emotion into it. I guess it's one of the reasons why I like when Adrian speaks so much, because he puts a lot of emotion in it. And like, I could see why you guys connected so well. It's it's almost like you are speaking the same language, and
Yeah. Truly.
Yeah, like on a deeper sense, not like English, like on a
Yeah.
like emotional
Metaphorically,
level.
Like,
yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
to explain what it means to you. You just get it. That's what it is like. It's like having I don't know if you guys have this ticking clock, and I don't mean the biological one, I mean the purpose one, where you don't know how much time you have, and you don't want to be a body that walked, shat, and put all types of gasoline into the air, and then it died again. You want to be it worth something. You want your mind being worth something. You want your life being worth something. And everything that you say is actually a reflection of all the shit that happened to you. And you want to make other people feel less alone because you know you're not the only one. You're not the only one like yourself, but you are a very specific brand of crazy. And you're narcissistic enough to believe that a part of the world wants to hear your story. And that's what it needs to be motivated enough to not give up. It's like it's the best form of legacy that you can have. It's better than having children because you have full control over what happens with it, right? Especially now, you put something on the internet, believe me, it'll never go away. And that's what I like about Adrian's work. Adrian will never die. His work will always be out there.
Wow.
His life is special.
Yeah, dude.
I really appreciate this. I'm just laughing out of. I'm nervous, nervously laughing.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate it because I think I feel you in that sense because I can't go back to, you know, after everything that you've figured out in your life so far. There's no way I can go back and think that I'm just here to do this and then die. You know, It's like it goes beyond that. You know, this can't be everything, you know, and by this I mean, you know, figure out a way to make money, you know, serve another company or whatever, and then that's it, right? I truly feel that way in my life, right? If someone else wants to do that because that's their goal, that I'm fine with that, right? But it's just that I've also been there in the beginning. That's what I thought about all this time, you know. This can easily be misinterpreted because it feels like I'm being disrespectful to other people who pursue this kind of career, you know, where I want to work at Blizzard, and Blizzard is like a big company. I'm gonna make a
that's their
good
passion.
living.
See, the thing is,
that's the thing.
Different bodies.
That's the thing.
The thing is, their story was already told, so they're just passionate about it. You have to fucking construct it. That's a whole. Some people find their place in the world. They're fucking lucky. Some people have to work hard at earning their place. They make it because nothing seems to fit, and that's a curse. It's most of it is suffering. You know the feeling. All of you know that feeling. You create something. It takes forever. It takes so much of your brain power, your capacity, your energy, your strength, your sweat, your discipline, your motivation, and you cry and you think, why am I doing this? And then you finally finished it, and you look at it for 3 seconds, and you're like, oh, good. Now you have to start with the new one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Most of it is hard work and suffering.
It's never over. Never.
The orgasm lasts for 3 seconds for a reason because you have to work hard at it.
It's a crazy process, and it's really a chaotic experience, to be honest. You know, like just take a look at your case, right? Everything you've been through, jumping, bouncing from one thing to another, and
it's not over.
You don't know when that moment comes where you say, I just found it. This is it. This is my thing. I don't think there's a moment like that. I think it's
you have to make it. You have to make it for yourself.
Yeah.
What I do right now is like maybe this was like fate, and I don't want to put pressure on you, but given the fact that you're near Valencia and you have some contacts, I think it will be easier to get a foot in the door in a community that is close to the skill set that I can offer them, right? So I can relax and be like, okay, now I can find some place to work where I can have a stable income. So in my free time, I can do the tarot cards. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not banking on it, but it's one of the possibilities that I can see coming out of this conversation itself, right?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a little bit of pressure here, because I don't feel like I have so many contacts.
You'll know someone who knows someone who knows someone. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll need to find it, man.
You know one person that I can talk to in the company that you worked in.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
You can tell them, here is a crazy passionate woman that is just exclusively in from Vienna, studied in Hollywood, has done everything and seen everything. And she's looking for work.
Yeah.
You know? The rest happens by itself.
Yeah, you certainly never know where you can land next. You know, like what's the next thing? the thing you mentioned about the future, like I'm so anxious about the future. I want to figure it out. I want to know, you know. I think that's the beauty of not knowing, you know. That's the
Just enjoy the ride.
that's the curse of
some
the
adrenaline
present,
junkie.
right?
I don't want us. I want to be scared out of my mind. Like I'm one of those people. I'm a control freak, I guess. Like I need to know how the next at least 3 months gonna look like, so I have an idea on what to. Because stability is important, right? If you have stability, you can establish a routine, and when you have a routine, you can establish a pipeline, and the pipeline helps you finish anything. And with me
Yeah.
being like, oh, everything is in the air, it's uncomfortable, but I want to believe that things are going to be all right, and I have to trust in the process of the domino effect.
Yeah. And I think now that you mentioned it, the thing about trying to control everything, including the stuff that you think should be controlling, however, you don't have power over that. That's something I, over so many conversations we had here in which I kind of expressed my concerns about, guys, this is what's happening now. I'm going through this, blah, blah, blah. I learned that, Andreas said at one time that, well, then if you can't control it, why do you worry about it? And I was like, well, that makes sense. Why am I worrying about that if I can't control it?
Because you have the worry. For me, the worry motivates me to do the next step, right? Because if you're afraid that you will die, you will try to not die, right? Because for me, income, that's important. If I don't have income, I can't get a place to live. I cannot eat. I don't
Yes.
want to be in debt to my friends or anything like that. That would diminish on my ego. So the fear helps me rush,
Yeah.
hustle, be like, okay, we have to get shit done. We have to get things rolling.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
motivator.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't want to end up homeless. It fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we all strive for that kind of moment where you don't have to worry about all that stuff anymore, right? We all want to get to a point where it's like, I don't need to worry about this anymore now. Thank God, I'm done. I'm over it now, So you're constantly striving for the next step, This is my goal. I want to be, let's say financially stable, and what do I have to do in order to get there, right? But at the same time, it's so complex, I think I'm a mess in terms of like all that stuff, how to figure all that stuff out. I see Andrea agreeing there, but seriously, I think it's a process of self-discovery all the time, where you think you're afraid to do something, that when that moment comes, you don't hesitate to do it. You just take the opportunity because it's the only thing you have. And it's a story of reinventing yourself all the time. As I said, I was dreaming of working at some big studio and making my life that way because that's what everybody else was doing back then. And it really translated that kind of dream into my kind of goals, right? And it's like, okay, I want to do that too, And then stuff that I didn't count on, like coming up with my own IP and working on my own stuff and freelancing and just saying goodbye to the studio and just embarking on my own journey as a freelancer, and started working with some other companies and individuals and attending events, and you just never know where everything's gonna go, because this is what my life's been so far. I was not counting on moving on to another country. My parents did that for me.
Me neither.
I had no decision over that. You have no decision over a lot of things. So just to sum this up, right? Nothing in life goes as you planned, right? And that's freaking okay. That's okay. I can't think about it being any other way. I can't imagine this being any other way. Like, I wouldn't know the people I know nowadays. I wouldn't speak the language I speak nowadays. Maybe my project Heavenarium wouldn't be a thing. It's every time you look back and you have regrets and all that stuff, at least in my case, the way I do is, I just say, but there's no way that it had to be that way. Everything that I've been through, everything that happened, has a meaning, has a purpose. And it
kind of
leads
feels
me
familiar even, right?
Yes, it's like
Struggle as it happens. It's like,
it was meant to be
feels
that
familiar.
way for me to come to be who I am right now. So some people will say, well, that's a cheap approach to excuse, your lack of bravery of approaching life with like whatever you want to do, strive for it, fight for your goals and all that. Because I tend to be looked at as someone who's like I flow with life, whatever it brings me. I do have my goals and I fight for them, but I flow more than I'm not like that blocky with like, this is what I have to do. And I can't go beyond this box, right? And then this, and then that, and then, I'm more like, all right, I was meant to do this. Circumstances, I can't do it. It's okay. I'm gonna do this other thing, and I think it's a game of adaptation in the end. Yes,
Yeah.
I have deep respect for, the people who fight for it till the end, and still don't make it. It's like heroes, right? It's the stories that make me emotional, and it's like you resonate with that at some point because you have the fear of not succeeding as well, and maybe that drives you
That's the thing,
forward.
like, it depends on what your success is. For me,
Yeah.
like personally, I want to hold them all like this, and the image,
I
image
swear,
that I have
I
over
just
there.
did the same thing with some books I have there from, whatever my
You
idols
feel
are.
like this is the
I'm
way
like
to success.
imagining this is mine. It's some like visualizing that.
Yeah, and for me, it helps to do it in 3D. I visualized the shit in 3D, those cards, because I couldn't get it printed out the way I wanted to because it would cost too much money. So I did it this way, and it's good like that because half of these cards are gonna change anyway by the time I'm done with them.
Mhm.
Because like you worked on something for a year, I'll have to
Yeah.
remaster them to make them more cohesive with the skill level that I have in the future at a point given in time. But yeah, I think that the best approach for me personally is having one thing for myself. And even if I can only make an hour a day or an hour a week, right?
Mhm.
But I have something that is me. It should be doable, an hour a week. People can binge a whole show in a day. So why shouldn't I be able to do an hour a day on whatever belongs to me? And then everything else, you grow, you learn something new, you get to know more people, have more skill set, you're more useful. Why the fuck not? I did part-time secretary. I fucking enjoyed it. I was like, I would never enjoy something. Oh yes, I did. I am a basic bitch like that doesn't mind sitting on my ass and working on something so boring, but it made me feel useful because as an artist, I mean, what do? You paint all day and people are like, oh nice, but you're not useful to society because you're just having fun all day. Boy, did I feel the usefulness when you have to pay other people's salaries and you fuck up. Oh, you feel useful at that. Like,
Yeah.
you know how irreplaceable you are at that moment.
You're suddenly essential, right?
Hey, wait, I have to show you this before we wrap it up because So I was working on this with a friend,
Okay.
and he had most of the template already, and the Swiss Army knife was my idea, and then I illustrated this.
That's a pretty cool
And I was-
concept.
I'm super proud
That's a
of
really
this.
cool idea. Yeah.
it's my resume. So that's what I've been working on for the past
cool.
couple of days.
Dude,
With,
that's
with
such
nice
a
little-
clever idea.
That's so cool. Yeah.
so
And
I
also
think
like
maybe
it's a perfect representation, I think.
I
Yeah.
have to own up to it, right? Because
Yeah.
you look at the path and it doesn't seem cohesive, but maybe that's the deal.
I like your
I
little
think you would
description
really
right there.
like enjoy.
Yeah.
I really cannot
draw
tell apart. I changed. I have a new one now. Because this is like too funny So I have one that is actually like more of a
The proper business one.
yeah. It was a cute idea, but upon second watching, I was like, okay, now come on, we want to have something that makes sense. Let me just pull it up because the design did change a little bit. I should have saved it on the drive. Okay, got it.
How did you come up with the Swiss knife idea?
I don't know. I
Was
just
it
thought of it.
a spontaneous kind of?
Yeah, it's like when you try to find a metaphor for
flash
your
image?
weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here I wrote a little bit about myself, like where I come from.
Oh,
It's still.
I'm sorry, but I can't see anything. I'm just looking at the skill set, the Swiss knife kind of thing.
Maybe you're sharing just the window.
Yeah, I'm just sharing the window. So.
Okay, now we can see it.
So I think this makes a little bit more sense, having a little paragraph about who I am at the moment, like the age and where I'm from and stuff like this, because the cover letter doesn't really introduce me with my background.
Yeah, I think it's a nice touch. You know, it completes the whole puzzle. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool.
I'm proud of having a nice.
I see other people's resumes and all that stuff, and it always makes you feel like you haven't done anything.
You know? I know. I was like that for almost 5 years.
Yeah, I was. Before we wrap this up, I just wanted to say this because we have here a clear example of success in that sense. You know, Dom has released his book. Like, he made a book, right? All those paintings you've seen, they are wrapped into a nice book that he sold to people that wanted to purchase that. And I don't know. It's like, I want to do that too, right? Everybody feels that way. Of course. Like, wait, he
Why
made a book?
would you not?
Like, okay, like I want to sell a book too. I want to make my own story, and I want to make that's so cool. That's so inspiring. But I mean, he made it. You know, it's not like
it screams purpose.
I hope it works. It's not like I hope it works. He did it, right? He's already on his way on a second one.
Dom doesn't wait.
Dom doesn't wait,
executioner.
Man. Yeah. He just, you know, this reminds me of that moment when we said, hey, we should do a podcast. And he was like, yeah, that would be cool. And then Dom comes into the conversation and says, what are you guys talking about? Oh, we should make like a podcast or something, you know, with these conversations we have. He was like, oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Fuck around. He just does what he says he'll do.
Let's do it.
That's how you're supposed to.
Set and done. That was that easy.
You don't have to Google how to make a book you just sit down, you write page by page by page by page, and suddenly you have a short novel, and then later you have a book. And the same with paintings, the same with anything. I don't count the amount of pieces I have. I one step at a time, and then suddenly you'll have a bunch that you can render on a sheet. I'm super proud of it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
cool. It just snowballs over time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did you want to say, Andre?
No, I was just going to say that the book's awesome. I got the copy and it's amazing. It got a little bit beaten up for
the delivery guy. Amazon as well?
Me? What? No, it's just direct purchase through me. So I only have a limited copy, so
you have to ask me
how many
first.
Copies? One?
I got about 15 left, but
how many did you sell?
Sold over 80. This is just like a.
So you ordered 100, right?
Yeah, around 100.
And you were sure that those will sell for sure.
I didn't think like 80 would sell, but I knew at least 20 or 30 would sell. I didn't expect. Yeah. But yeah, it's actually mostly people from Europe buying this book. A lot less in the US, actually. So it's weird.
Why do you think
That's strange. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
maybe because it's more classical, right?
I don't know about classical, but I guess, I mean, I don't know.
It's
Like most of
style,
my
it's
followers
very
are European, so
okay.
a lot of people from Russia and Germany, UK.
Yeah.
Where
was-
is the link to buy the book?
Oh, I have to like send you a document. I don't have like a official store, sorry. But I can send you one if you're interested.
I want one.
This is so cool, man. Like,
a little-
there's no way for you to buy it. You just have to ask me. You know.
Yeah, you gotta come through me.
If I want
Yeah.
to, I can send you one, but convince me now.
That's awesome. That
Hollywood Boulevard
Yeah.
with all these guys with those CDs. Hey, have my mixtape, but you're like, hey,
It's a bit pricey, so I don't know if like your price range is like it's
How much is
$50, 50 USD.
okay.
And
I
then
was
plus
like
the shipping
45. Okay.
is around like 35. So it's a bit
How many
expensive.
pages? How many pages do you have in there? Is it
It's on
hardcover too?
68. Yeah. Hardcover, matte finish, signed.
No, it's totally worth it. You know what I'm gonna do with it? I will take an enlarging scope or whatever they're called. And I'm gonna look at all the brushwork so I can see
Oh
it.
no.
Oh no.
Your secret is gonna be out
if-
there.
I think this is a pretty cool, pretty good
Now
moment
I'm not
to.
gonna get your book. It's super exclusive, huh?
This is a pretty good moment to also say
Yeah.
that Dom just made like an interview, you know, with Sid. So there's this podcast called the Convergence Podcast, right? You can find it on
It's in my bio.
Spotify,
click on
SoundCloud, anywhere
got
you
it.
want. It's
I got it.
everywhere. Yeah. So Dom, I think Dom is the most recent episode 17 or 19. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
in
but-
case you guys want to check it out, it's really cool.
Check
Just
out
finished.
these guys too.
We are there too.
just-
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is not that worth it, so check them out first. And then...
Is yours not worth it?
Self-love, right?
Hey, Tiana,
just
if you want a
joke.
book, maybe you should wait for the second one to come out. I think it's going to be a bit better.
I want the book.
And then you can get the bundle at a discount. So.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
what I
I'll
was
have it at a
wondering.
discount
Yeah.
for the first one. So just wait on that until
Blue
'cause,
November,
yeah.
baby. Yeah. It's gonna
I'm
be so
still
cool.
figuring
dude.
that out.
I would like to go back to LA and grab a coffee. That way, I'll save myself the shipping cost.
Yeah.
Oh, that
True.
would be actually, yeah. That's a nice way to put it. You know, like I
Yeah.
literally go
Seriously,
there.
I've been dying
Yeah.
to go back for a while now. So the more people I can round up to say hi to, the better.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd be down to meet up if you come here. I could give you a copy. Or
I
Then
Man.
we can walk through Irvine.
oh yeah, everyone's nice. It's like a utopia here.
I've
It's very
walked
clean.
through it. It's so quiet. There's nobody walking. Like only people walk their dogs, and that's it. You don't see
Yeah.
cars much.
There's no
It's just
crime
so-
really.
It's weird.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. I want to go back to LA someday and do like a meetup there.
Yeah. Why don't we go together at the same time? We're gonna be neighbors anyway.
That would be awesome.
She's gonna
really.
drag you along. Just go, dude.
That would be nice, man.
Yeah, seriously. It would be nice to. You know how boring plane rides are for 15 hours, and you heard me talk. You heard you talk. We would annoy everybody on the plane. Just whack 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 whack. 15 hours.
Unless we get matched with like our, other twins or something from somewhere else from the world. We didn't know existed, and they turn out to be just like us. Can you imagine? Like they sit right in
On the
front of
plane?
you. Yeah, and then they turn around. and they look at you and they're like, "This is my stuff," you know, like what are you guys talking about? And then we start 15
Wouldn't that be
hours
cool?
of
That's what it was like after seminars, like art seminars. You happen to be on the same plane. It's fucking epic.
yeah, for sure. What a coincidence. But
Andre, where are you? Where do you live?
I'm from Brazil, so yeah.
You're there. Where exactly? What city?
It's near São Paulo, like the main city here. So
Sao Paulo.
The main city.
I'm good.
we have to make it there
Gonna
too
look at-
someday.
Man,
I mean,
wouldn't it
you
be
saw
nice
the
to-
pictures. I can take you to that little paradise island.
Bro, that's so cool.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
He was on a trip.
Wait, did you
recently.
just tell me that you're gonna take me to Paradise Island?
I mean, all of you. Okay.
It looks like that, you know, because dude, all that crystal clear water.
Yeah, I went to
and
this like
the
little tree.
vegetation.
Exactly, and you swim like there's all of these little fishes like swimming all around you, and you can feel them like running through you. It's awesome.
That's so cool, man.
It looks beautiful. It looks so sci-fi, actually.
What do you mean sci-fi?
Like, look at the bridge. And the
I think she's
skyscraper.
talking about the city
Oh,
itself.
okay.
Oh, it's a dog.
Hey, what's up,
Good
dude?
move.
He wants to be in the
But,
podcast too.
Yeah,
There he is.
The
Oh
beast.
boy. So we're almost reaching the 3-hour mark.
Whoa.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a.
Is
that
this
a
the
long one?
longest one we've ever done?
I think so.
It might
so.
be.
Yeah, this man, I
Yeah.
don't know. This really felt like such. It's exactly what I was expecting, to be honest. Like
You will
such
need
a
vacation after this conversation. I get it.
such a relaxed kind of episode. Like
Let's take a month-long break now. And then-
no,
We
but
got more
seriously,
coming after this.
yeah.
So
Yeah, who's coming up next?
one of my
We've thought about
jar, right?
we thought about some people.
I mean, let's not like confirm anything yet, but
Yeah.
Okay.
We've thought about some people, and we're still figuring out, like, we don't have like a schedule or anything. We're just basically asking them if they want to come here. And what I want to say is that man, you make things so easier, Tiana. Like, it's so easy to talk to you, you know, and people like this are so rare, and that's why you feel this kind of level of connectivity when there's someone you can easily
I'm just counting down on being cancelled on Instagram for whatever I just said today. I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be like,
the reach's not that big. Don't worry.
8.
Don't worry, we're a small channel. No one will notice, right? No one will hear us, and then we bloom all of a sudden. You know, we blow up.
Yeah, well, I gave you guys some saucy shit, so
Nah,
Hey.
it's okay. But yeah, man, I don't know. It feels such a like a true connection. You know, when you get to relate to someone, and like
yeah.
it makes communication so much easier. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for your time, man. Like, this was cathartic for me, like a therapy session, given the timing.
Nice.
For
Well
you, it
done.
was definitely
We hoped it
information.
felt like that. So
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
thank you,
I mean-
thank you so much for coming.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, for real.
It was
Thanks a lot.
pleasure, really.
You-
I'm glad to see you again.
You need to come back at some point, and we have to draw something live. Hopefully by that time we're gonna be live streaming. You know, you never
How
know.
far away
Yeah.
are you from Valencia, Adrian?
Like 1 hour by car,
Okay.
maybe a little
Well,
bit
if
less.
you ever want to make the trip, I'll send you my address, and then you can come over. We can hang out. Maybe make a stream from there.
That would be so cool.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever you feel like. I would love that. Like, the more people that are familiar to me in the new environment, the better. Because
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, this is like unreal. I
No.
didn't plan any of this.
Well, I don't know. I wish you all the best in your adventures to come, and I'm sure everything's gonna be okay. So yeah, just enjoy as much as you can, and yeah, let me know hit me up anytime you need anything. We're gonna be here. I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I don't know Valencia at the point you think I do, but I've been living there for a few months, you know, some years back when I had to move there. But I was living like on the outskirts, you know, in a place that was far away. It was like a 10-minute drive. But I was working in Valencia, actually. So it was this really cool building, you know. We were working for PlayStation back then. Our project got like accepted into this nice program. And yeah, that was like that part of my life where that's the closest I've been to a corporate job per se, you know, even though we were just game developers. But it was a nice time where I got a lot of time to spend with myself. Because, you know, the first days...
In the corporate environment.
Yes, because when I left that office, you know, I was driving and I had a lot of time to spend with myself and think.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
And instead of listening to music, sometimes I was just speaking and recording and just trying to get my thoughts out. And
really? You were recording to yourself?
I've been doing that actually for 5 years now. It's like a voice journal kind of thing, you know.
Okay, so you don't bother writing them down. You just let it out like this. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I just
do
pick
you
my
actually
phone
go back to them and
record.
listen?
Yeah, I actually started that as a way for me to improve my English, you know.
Yeah.
So it started like 6 years ago when I realized that my English was trash, and I was on a trip around Europe and I realized that I need to improve it, and that was the way I did it. I had nobody to speak English with around me, so I spoke to myself, I guess.
You're a treasure chest. You're cool.
It really worked.
Cool.
So yeah, but
obviously,
man, I'm always branching into new subjects. You know, like this came from the very thing she said about Valencia. This was that. Yeah, I was just trying to say that I don't really know Valencia that much, but I'll do my best. So yeah. Again.
Whoever you know, I'm not tied to the apartment that I have. I would like to stay in Spain because it's nice. It's warm.
I hope you like it.
Sun and colors.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll like it. So again, Tiana, thank you so much for coming here, sharing all the story with us, and yeah, I hope you come back at some point, right? In some other episode.
I'd love to. Hopefully with better news, with not so intense stories.
Oh, I'm sure we all want to hear from your story, you know, like your successes and your upcoming successes. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being so patient.
Thanks a lot. This is that time where
it means the world to me.
This is
Andre and Dom, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I hope that the next time you get a little bit more airtime and speak.
No, it was a
I'm
pleasure
more of
to
a
listen to
listener,
your
so
story.
that was good.
Honestly, yeah.
So this is that time where you don't have to hang up because we're just, you know, thank you guys.
Fade it out.
Yeah.
Now the music comes.
So if anyone wants to do the outro, feel free. I've already spoke a lot.
Andre.
Okay, go. Do it, Andre. Do it, Andre.
No, I can't do it.
Okay, I'll do
ahead,
it. So
yeah.
anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming here to the stream today. Not yet, but thank you for watching this episode. We hope you like it. By the way, Tiana, we're going to be dropping all your links, you know, to your social media and all that stuff in the description and the pinned comment.
My 3
whatever.
Instagrams, my website, my art station, my blood type.
You have a lot of stuff, so we're gonna be dropping all that in the description in case people want to follow you. So yeah, also you have a YouTube channel and a Twitch, so we're gonna be linking that as well. So yeah,
I mean, we'll write a whole book for you on the description.
Yeah, so thank you so much, and we hope to see you guys in the next episode. So until then, just enjoy your time, have a good one, and stay creative. See ya.